Roof is on today at Etihad Stadium for what should be a fascinating clash between two sides, hopefully on the up, St Kilda and Melbourne. Let's get down to the Saints rooms, and with terrific access there, Jared and Bomber.
Well, it never changes, Bomber, doesn't it? You can feel the electricity down here. They've had the boisterous warm-up, then they've had the very silent messaging, but the coach has got one simple message, it seems.
I think their big focus would be and has been their forward pressure. They've been number one in the competition, and if they can really put some pressure on Melbourne's disposal coming out, they'll get the ball back and they'll kick some goals. But I feel a bit awkward in here at the moment, Jared.
I know you're trying to hide in the corner, but in reality, this is a huge opportunity for St Kilda. 3 wins. They're coming up against a side that they're capable of winning. They're going to the bye, so it's all in over the next 2 hours.
Well, that's right. They can play the whole game out and not have to worry about it next week. But I think it's a bit quieter than what I would have imagined it to be. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
A lot of players are boisterous. Some are more quiet than others. Could you trust the boisterous ones?
We're going to get out the way here.
Look out. You're going to get a forearm jolt. The St Kilda players are now getting themselves all ready to go. You pick St Kilda. Why in particular do you think the Saints can get across the line?
Well, I like the way they play. They're fast and they play as a team, and I just think Alan Richardson knows how to coach. Not that I know Paul Roux doesn't, but I just like St Kilda.
Well, Alan Richardson is the last to walk out the door, but they have made 5 changes, Hutto, and I know you've got the team.
Thank you, Jared. Yes, they're on their way, the Saints. Great to get that sort of access and just the feel, Sandy Roberts, for the Saints as they march up, as Jared said. Nick Revolt leading them out. It was a loss last week, 63 points, but only 7 inside 50s less than the Hawks, and they really were competitive for a fair bit. And I think the thing that Saints fans like the most is they can see this team emerging, can't they?
Indeed they can, Hutto. At the start of the season, I think everyone had them pinned at 18th spot on the ladder and lucky to win a match. Well, they've won 3 out of their first 10, and they've got an excellent chance of building on that today. As we said, they have made a number of changes. We'll have a look at that lineup shortly. There's Josh Bruce, key man up forward with that man, Nick Riewoldt. As they break through the banner, the supporters have stuck with them, and the supporters are excited because they can see some light at the end of the tunnel. But Sam Gilbert comes back into this lineup. He's been sadly missed his running defensive work off half-back. Good to have him back. Weller is in, Dunstan's in, Memory, and also Mitchington. But Schneider and Shendon are missing, so too is Hickey. Billings is out with shin soreness, and Sinclair has been omitted. But one of the keys, no doubt, Hutto, is the man wearing the number 20 strip in David Armitage.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Who do they go to out of Armitage and Stephen? Well, we know from what Lynchy said that they're going to pay most attention to Stephen, but Bernie Vince will also be watching this man, David Armitage. He's dynamic. 24 disposals last week. He did cop a fair bit of attention. He's averaged 29 over the last month, second in the AFL for average disposals. So that's 32 disposals a game. He's a terrific contested player. He lost weight, we know that. He's put in so much work over the off-season. He's such an important player for this St Kilda team, and they are building that midfield around Jack Stephen and David Armitage. But that man's still leading the way as the skipper, Nick Revolt. We said it's been a big week for him, of course, with what he's doing in memory of his sister. And Nathan Jones is the captain, and he certainly is the main leader of the Demons. They're going to kick to the left of screen. We're going to go down to the middle of screen and talk to David King.
Well, thanks, Hutto. I'd like to make a lot of the Saints' pressure. We've talked about that all season. It's been their brand. Melbourne have got a great return from their pressure gauge this year as well. They both have 180 pressure points, which is logged by Champion Data. So they're bang on for the pressure that they apply to the opposition. But it's all about the difference. It's about whether you can out-pressure your opponents. And St Kilda have done that better than Melbourne across the course of the year. They're ranked number 2, averaging plus 8 pressure points for the year, whereas Melbourne are minus 9, which has them 16th in the competition. If you win the pressure game today, that will decide the result. If St Kilda can get their game going, particularly in the forward half, then they will harass Melbourne to turnover. It'll be the pressure game today and the pressure gauge that will decide the result.
Kingy, what do you think about the record? We know the Saints have won the last 10 against Melbourne, but also Melbourne's horrific record here at Etihad. How significant is it?
I think it's about support. They generally don't draw a great crowd over here, Melbourne, to get them over the line, to play their part as the 19th man, if you like. The Saints have had a great team here the last 6 or 7 years. They've had some enormous success way back when Ross Lyon had St Kilda, so that's probably been the platform for the head-to-head combination. But I think Etihad's caused some problems for Melbourne, but hopefully not today, Hutto.
Hopefully for them, that is not the case. We're not far away from the bounce of the ball, as you can see. Plenty of interesting matchups. Garlett, I'm sure Geary's going to be paying him a fair bit of attention, or maybe it won't be Geary. In fact, but we're just about set to go in the middle, and to handle all the action from the first bounce is Sandy Roberts.
Thank you, Hutto. The D's kicking to the locket end, which is to the left of screen. It's Longer up high, winning it down initially. Viney tried to get the hand pass clear, pushes it down inside 50. Both there were Garlett and also Jetta, neither able to take it cleanly. Comes away, however. Now an opportunity once again for the D's. They are clear towards centre wing. Kick has got to be good, and it is. Jones marks on the wing. Plays on quickly to Bernie Vince. Vince gets leg, and he's going to get a free kick. He plays on, gives it back to Jones. Jones spears it in towards the forward line. Excellent pass. And Jesse Hogan will pick himself up and have a shot just 30 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Well, the Demons have owned the footy in this first minute of play, and they kept a nice bit of space there between the 50 arc and 20 metres out from goal. And Jones's kick wasn't perfect, but in flight, but it certainly found its mark.
It was good cohesion too, wasn't it, with Pedersen not to come across and interfere.
17 goals for Jesse Hogan in his first season. He veers away to the right, straightens up and tries to bring it back, and he does exactly that. First goal to the Demons.
Bomber, we were talking on the way up from the St Kilda rooms. The Saints a little bit quiet down there, and we know they've got the big name in Nick Rewald, but this could well be the day that Jesse Hogan stamps his mark on the AFL world with a big half-dozen goals. Oh, look, we know he's a star in the future, but it's great to be there the day that the star actually announces himself.
Is born.
Today's the day, and Melbourne are going to win at a venue they haven't won in 20 years.
Well, it's a pretty good start, Hutto. They went out the back, and good cohesion, as you said, from half back through. And Alan Richardson be a little bit disappointed that forward pressure wasn't able to hold the ball in.
Centre bounce, as you can see, it's been all Melbourne as far as touching the ball goes, and that continues. Viney to Jones. He took a quick step and then gets it off. Vince sends them forward, and there's a good leap by Sam Gilbert, and they are darting away. Geary as the Saints try and click into action. Bruce presenting hard up the ground. Rewald is drifting back all the way to full forward with McDonald watching him, so if they can get it into him, that's the end target, you suspect. And there it is. No, goes wide instead. And players going forward and back, coming up to the footy. But drifting with the flow was Loney, and he can line them up.
Well, if you're looking for a favourite player and you're a young St Kilda fan, get number 37, whack it on the back of your jumper, because you're in for a hell of a ride. And wasn't it great to welcome back Sam Gilbert there, Bomber? We, I think, have seen him so few times over the last couple of years that we forget how important he is to this side. But this young bloke, he is the future of the Saints.
So Loney, he's used that post beautifully. Straightens up and scores a level. Good to see two nice shots at goal by young players to open proceedings.
Well, it's it is good, and Melbourne had 15 possessions to 2 possessions before that passage of play, and Gilbert was involved, and they've taken the ball down the ground. I love the fact that Melbourne are prepared to play quickly, which sort of signals their intent. Might be a game where it's a bit of a goal fest.
Shootout.
A shootout. A good old-fashioned shootout, Sandy.
Nothing wrong with that, Bomber.
No.
An excellent start. 1 goal apiece.
Guys, keep those elbows in, all right?
As we go back to the middle, elbows in, Razor Ray in charge.
And we saw Jeremy Howe there just getting under the ball. He's got to be careful he doesn't become a one-trick pony, and the only time he can influence the game is on somebody's shoulders.
A perfect bounce by Chamberlain. No one taking it cleanly. Gawn goes through for a second attempt, but the big man can't get through. Taken to ground by Ross, and he's going to have to pick himself up and do the work again in the middle. No third man up. Ross again tries to get it out, but it's Vince who flicks it high, putting Melbourne inside 50 towards Hogan once again. Jesse charges at it. Tried to create a passage. In the end, it was socket off the ground. Down towards centre wing. Ball spills free. No one able to take it cleanly. Out the back it comes. Ross missed it. Now an opportunity once again for Jones. Gets it across towards Lumumba. He comes across the ground. Kick's got to be good. And it is. Bernie's been in everything at the moment. Vince between centre wing and half forward. Just about every play in one half of the ground. So he kicks into the man on the mark. Lumumba's in trouble. He strikes a tackle. 55 out. Gives it to Jones. Spears a pass. Beautifully done. And once again, guess who's going to pick himself up? Jesse Hogan.
Well, here it goes. It's a pretty good double act at the present time. Jones to Hogan, and I know that they'd all be singing that at home, the Demon supporters and those that are here. But he's getting off the chain too much, I'm sure, for Alan Richardson's liking, Nathan Jones. That's 2 inside 50s that have set up 2 shots a goal.
Well, him and Verdi Vince were the offenders last week of winning the ball, and already they've got Jones has got 5, Vince has got 4.
Here's Hogan directly in front, doesn't miss. He's got 2. Melbourne's got 2.
Well, he's off to a fly bomber, and the alarm bells are ringing, more so because I think of the freedom with which Jones is winning the football. It doesn't matter who's on the end of it. It's great that Hogan's got a couple, but when you get a midfielder running inside forward 50 that has been tagged in recent times, that's a dangerous signal.
Gee, when you get that many defenders in there and they can find a player like that.
Yeah. I think they'd be looking for a bit of space, wouldn't they, forwards? Like you play against Collingwood and there's no room in the good teams, and then all of a sudden you play against a team with your own ability, maybe a bit less ability, and then all of a sudden things open up.
And they'd be focusing on that missed tackle there, David Armitage, on Heredia.
So 3 clearances to Melbourne, and they have the early advantage.
Oh.
Swing and a miss. It comes Farron Ray's way. He's been another important inclusion for them, as has Seb Ross. Down to full forward. Revolt propped at the front. McDonald did enough. Membry can't burst his way onto it. He did a mighty fine job of trying, but Grimes was certainly equal to it and worked it through for a behind. It's good to see that centre bounce from Brent Wallace too, Jared. Plough's boy.
Yes, he's well, he was a champion player, Terry Wallace. Let's hope his son is a champion umpire, but clearly he takes after his mum, because his legs are about half as wide, Bomber, as Plough's tree trunks.
Sticks.
He's here today, Terry, watching his son, which is great news anyway. Jack Stephen caught. Not before he gets a kick down towards the pocket region, and defending grimly is Lyndon Dunn in his 150th game. He runs into a brick wall.
That's the forward pressure they've been looking for, isn't it?
Brick wall in the frame of Nunes. So we've got a throw in a ball up once again. Close to the boundary line. Now we've got the throw in. Seeing it over. Young Jack Viney. So a positive start by both sides. This is what we want. From the throw-in, Gawn could have almost given a bit of a nudge. Went unanswered. Once again, it looks as though we're heading towards another stoppage.
A few stoppages already, Sandy, and just for the interest's sake, these 2 teams are on a journey, and you've got to enjoy what they do along the way, don't you? And I like what I see in St Kilda and in Melbourne.
Yes, building towards the future. Who knows what they can produce in 4 or 5 years' time. Watts in trouble. Gang tackle taken to ground. A pensive Paul Roos. And Alan Richardson, who is always pretty calm.
Yes, Roosy used to be. Last week he got a bit animated.
Lyndon Dunn playing the deepest defence. Colin Garland not playing, so he's got Josh Bruce. McDonald will be tracking Rewald. If he goes up to the wing, probably they'll do a switch over, and there's another important matchup, Viney and Stephen.
Try and chart through. Nunes couldn't get on the end of it. The Demons' defence is stout. Riley got crashed in the ground, holding the ball.
Well, that's their trademark. That's what they pride themselves on, those forward 50 tackles and repeat entries giving shots at goal.
Seb Ross just eases the ball into the 50, and it was beautifully placed for Membry.
Look at the possession rate here, 28 to 14, double their possession rate. That's a bit of not a reflection of the game, though, is it?
Well, inside forward 50, it's exactly the same. In fact, it's now favouring the Saints.
Melbourne have had 10 kicks and 18 handballs. Maybe handball a bit too much.
The Saints have been in control for 2 minutes, and those 2 minutes have had both Bernie Vince and Nathan Jones off the ground.
Membry's kicked 4 goals, 3 this year, and this is his 7th game, and that improves to 5. There's we check in with Alistair Lynch, who's spending the day in the Melbourne box. Lynchy, what have you seen from inside so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty animated in the box early, just trying to make sure they got all the matchups exactly how they want to start the game. They've been very impressed from a Melbourne point of view. The first give set up the first 2 goals, so they're happy with the first give and the intensity at the ball carrier when St Kilda have had the ball. The message has gone out a couple of times to Tom McDonald. Don't get sucked too far up the field. Make sure you let Riewoldt go all the way up, pick him up on the way back.
Comments there from Alistair Lynch, who's spending the day in the Melbourne coach's box with Paul Roos and his staff. So a 1-point ball game. Longer goes early. Viney tried to take it out of the middle. Unsuccessful at the first attempt. He goes again. He gets ripped to the ground.
Holding the man, Melbourne.
Yeah, good second effort there by
Got a free kick.
Viney, who had the first hands and gave it away and then was in after the second one.
Going long in towards full forward. Once again, Delaney trapped it beautifully on the half volley. Now he's got a problem. Gawn tried to flick it out the back. He was looking for Vince. Didn't find him quite. And Stephen gets the hand pass going to Dempster, and for the moment the Saints out of trouble. Back to the running Jackie Stephen. Stephen goes high. Up towards Dunstan. Great attempt. And he's going to be rewarded anyway.
That was a magnificent play. He was undersized, but he was able to win the footy, Dunstan.
In opposition to the 150 gamer. Gives it to Sammy Gilbert, who's coming back for the first time this season. He's taken over the line.
Let's take a look at this previous free, but there's plenty on this bomber. You can just feel that both sides are playing as if this is a final for them.
They both think they can win. I'm not sure whether that free kick was there or not, but yeah, it's an interesting game. It's a game where you'll see a little bit of spite, I think, and a little bit of competitiveness come out.
Dunn's kick is marked by Longer.
Jared, it just looks at ground level as if St Kilda are starting to get their game going now. Their pressure game's starting to take hold. Melbourne's ball use has fallen away the last couple of minutes.
Riewolt's come a long way out. He couldn't get him in a position to fly for that. Here's Lumumba through some heavy traffic, gives it to Watts. They're handling it smartly to Jones. Jones' kick is partly smothered, however, and finishes over the boundary line.
And that's the pressure you're talking about. And once again, it was Jack Stephen, Kingy, who you focused on before the match, influencing it when he hasn't got the ball.
They're cleaner by hand on exits in Kilda, and they're really playing with some speed out of the defensive half. And if Melbourne can't get their clearance game going early, this could become St Kilda all the way.
It's tight at the moment in around the clinches, but pulling his way through was Armitage onto the left. A physical player takes them inside 50, making it difficult for Jet alone. He was with him, warring him very well, and applies the clamps. We'll have a ball up.
Well, that's a great decision from the umpire. He had no chance to get rid of the ball, and in some ways the game is almost telling you don't take possession, so important that that decision was made.
Gone to Watts, who was bold enough to work through the traffic, and it is Tumpus at the end of all that to Alex Neil-Pullen. It was a tough way to start your AFL career with his first possession, a bit of a hospital job.
It's a couple of times in 2 weeks that Tumpus has handballed the blokes who are about to get pinged. He's just got to work it through, and if the handball isn't there, you don't give it.
Jack Stephen to full forward, gone amongst 4 demons up to try and spoil. Montagna pops it over the top and popped over further to Revolt from well up, and the Saints able to get it together and now take a 7-point advantage, and they really are flying now.
Well, you can track that one straight back to the Jimmy Tumpus handball, but really good pressure from St Kilda. Interesting alley-oop, this one. Not quite in the perfect position, but manufactured from Jack Riewoldt. But if you're going to play high-intensity football, you've got to get your hands right and your decision-making right, and that one cost the Demons a goal against.
And you just say that that's an example of what Ella Richardson would have wanted. That front half turnover, the tackling, the speed, the bring down, ended up in a resulting goal for St Kilda. It's exactly the way they want to play.
Riewolt's 629th goal. Bruce having a spell on the ball. Wins it. But can they take it out of the middle? Viney to Jones again. It's high. It's inside 50. Gilbert.
Doing
Had his eyes on it at all times. Took a fine grab.
that intercept marker is important. He's never been known as a brilliant kick, that one.
And he's living up to that reputation at the moment, Jared.
Still found grass, though, Sandy.
Indeed. Montagna to centre wing. And forced over the line, opposition.
That's the
Plenty of opposition to Dunstan.
Sorry, Sandy, that's the difference, Jared. Melbourne by foot want to get the ball quickly into their forward line. They leave themselves open to that intercept mark, whereas the Saints are coming out by hand and maintaining that counter-attack speed.
He's a pretty hand in the inclusion already, Sam Gilbert, picking up 2 intercept marks. And this bloke's a gun around the stoppages, needs to be watched.
Armitage and Ross combining. They make the switch to the outer side. Weller. Rewalt's got to get his skates on. He doesn't get the kindest of bounces, and Tommy McDonald just sees it over the line. Looking for a better day than the one he had last week.
Well, luck was in his favour there, Bomber. He got the bounce, and
Yes.
he's had a reasonably good record against a bloke as talented as Nick Rewalt, but the bounce didn't favour him.
Pedersen in the front position. Bruce came there to equalise. They've been able to work it forward through Tyson. There's Neil Bullen. He gets another opportunity, gives it back to Tumpus, and watch out, Pedersen had to give, he knew it. Jones, and maybe they're trying to handball their way through everything at the moment, the Demons. This one comes off. Lumumba with a powerful kick, but it was low percentage, really, wasn't it?
It does annoy you, those sorts of kicks, when the player's got time and he just turns it straight over the opposition. They're coach killers, them ones.
Nunes takes it from Dempster and sends it to the wing for the Saints, but chopping it off McDonald. They can rebound strongly here. Again, it's by hand initially, and then the cutting kick on the 45 was good to Tumpus. He's got Brayshaw on, spots him, but so did the Saints. He gets it anyway and kicks a goal anyway. No, he just bent it back too far.
He's a good player, isn't he, the young one? Don't bother.
He's a beauty. Brayshaw is a ripper, and that one just missed by a Skerrick, but she's nice and open. We're getting plenty of shots at the goal, which is terrific.
Yep. Jimmy Webster.
Jimmy. Over the line. Interesting. 17 kicks, 38 handballs, Melbourne. Like, that's something they would never do. It's today's focus.
Tumpus in trouble again.
Yeah, we can ask Lindsay that at some stage, whether that is by design. I suspect they wouldn't want this disparity as much as that, Bomber.
No, never. No, you wouldn't have 2 handballs for 1 kick.
Longer. Pedersen. Ray. His kick partly smothered. Good tackle by Nunes to lock it in. Jones comes in over the top. And Ray Chamberlain takes charge. Picking himself up. Aidan Riley. Pedersen with the right hand. Taking the ground was Armitage. Dunstan also. Ray there as well, and eventually another ball up.
Interesting that Rewald and Bruce have assumed their forward tactical position. Rewald more central, and Bruce out on the outer side. You can see him there, and they love running back with the flight of the ball and into the space.
The Jones hand pass is good. They deliver up towards the half-forward line. Geary got a hand to it, but that was all. Now the race is on. Howe hand pass is okay. A snap, well, it's a centering kick, clever kick, an unselfish kick, and the mark is taken by Stretch.
Good passage of play there by the Demons. Set it up for the youngster to have a shot at goal.
Billy Stretch, one of a number of changes this week to the Melbourne lineup.
It's his first possession for the day.
Kicking from 45, but almost directly in front. For his second goal in his very short career. This is just his 3rd game. Leans back on it and finds the woodwork. So they're down by 5 points.
They've had just a few minutes of play, Jared, haven't they? Haven't been able to capitalise on that.
Yeah, they've had their momentum, and now it's St Kilda's turn. They've got to win it back, get the runners to start charging defensively. It's something Melbourne runners haven't been famous for.
Jimmy was on the fly, and Webster finds Mitchington.
Gilbert
suddenly,
in the goal square.
Yeah, he's drifted deep, hasn't he, Sammy Gilbert? What a transition for the Saints from the deepest defence right to the front of the goals almost, although for a left footer like Sam Gilbert, it's not quite done yet.
He's got the banana option. I'm sure he's practiced it, but that's the point that I'm sure Paul's talking about. He's a half back. Where's the half forward running him down? And he would have gone past 5 midfielders to get that shot, that goal, which ended up a long way away. Nice call, Hutter.
So, bringing it back into play, McDonald takes the mark.
The Saints would expect to win this back. It's their trademark, hold the ball in, get the repeat entry.
McDonald called to go towards Gorn and co. Pedersen there as well, but there's a red, white and black in front, and that's Dempster. That's a fine pack mark.
He marks well above his height.
Gee. Now he goes back towards the Rewalt territory, but there's a huge pack of players. Ball goes to ground, it's flicked out and eventually over the boundary line, smothered off the boot of McDonald.
Gee, this was a good mark from Dempster.
Yeah, that's a great pack. So in the right forward pocket, the big men lock arms once again. Reyes at the back. It's socket off the ground. McDonald's into all sorts of pressure, but he does get the hand pass away. No one clear. Bruce had it. Rewalt! Gets his second.
Leigh was touched outside the goal square after the kick. I'd just like to confirm.
Okay.
They might even take it back a bit further and say it was a handball or a throw. I know.
They can't do that, as you well know, Jared, but interesting disposal, wasn't it?
Is that Terry's son? The umpire that went the... I think it was.
Oh, I think the goal umpire was the...
No, yeah, the central umpire who he talked to, though. Yeah, I think it is.
Well, we'll wait on the decision.
Touched.
Oh. Just come off the shin of the Demons. Good call from the up.
Was. So, Lyndon Dunn, as we said, in game number 150. Only once has he played more than 20 games in a season. It's been a real battle. He started as a forward, kicked 2 goals on debut, and he's very much found his home in defence. The ball over the line and out of bounds. He's a good story of persistence, isn't he, Lyndon Dunn?
Yes, and he's played in so many positions. He's played as a key forward, a key defender. He's played as a midfielder alone. He's played as a midfield run-with player. Been a good servant.
Right now they're defending stoutly, the Demons, because the Saints lead by a goal and have it at half forward. Billy got the tap down. Viney ran straight into Montagna. The umpire let it keep going. And that's a good, strong mark from Membry.
Nice in-tight work from Billy Longer too to release the first handball. He's having a pretty good year, Billy.
Membry back in the team this week, so they think they can make the 3 tall forwards work. Obviously, with the ruckman going out, the more regulation key forward in Membry comes in.
I think it's a better balance rather than having the 2 ruckmen. The second ruckman there has generally not applied the same amount of pressure, hasn't kicked enough goals.
So here he is again, Membry. He kicked a nice goal earlier. That one's not going to add to it. Let's go to Alistair Lynch once again, who's in the box with the Demons. Lynchy, we talked about a huge number of handballs early. Is that getting much focus in the box?
Yeah, no doubt the Melbourne coaching staff think they're just overdoing the handball coming through the middle of the ground. Need to look up and put in a low pass instead of bombing away into the forward 50 where Gilbert's taken 2 intercept marks.
The other issue the Demons have got is getting the ball out of forward 50.
Here's Rewalt, boys.
Defensive 50.
And
defensive 50, yeah.
Absolutely, Jared. And that's part of what they were speaking about pre-game, withstanding the pressure that's going to come from the frontal pressure from St Kilda. They really work hard to maintain the ball in their forward 50, so they've got to weather the storm. Short by foot, hit targets, and then switch when they can go.
Well, they went early this time, Bomber. They've got it outside the defensive 50, but not the forward half, and it's going to go back again.
3 St Kilda players there. Dempster was there, Longer was there, Montagna was there. In fact, 4 Geary as well. Now the Delaney hand pass to Savage. He goes even wider still, so they're changing now, and Weller a little too much on it for Rewalt, but it doesn't matter. He's got support from Ross, who snaps in towards goal. Geary, did he get it touched? It was 1 behind, just Lyndon Dunn right on the last line of defence.
Once again, an around the corner kick that rarely get the height of a drop punt, Bomber. How do you handle those sorts of kicks as against your standard drop punt that goes through over the post?
Oh, I used to complain and try and tell the players to do the other thing, but they instead I was Too old.
Watts to Jones. Up towards full forward. Hogan from behind. Can't do the work effectively. Pressure on the defence. Here's Gilbert on his wrong side. Got the hand pass away. Flicked out by Armitage. An interesting flick too. Back it goes to Armo once again. He may get caught here from behind. He does. He's got to give a little ground. They'll settle it down. And taking the mark is Shenton.
Goes short. Montagna. They're having their own issues getting it out of the 50 now.
Yeah, some were self-inflicted. Horrible handball options and really nervous handballs that were lucky to not get turned over. But that's a really good kick.
Well, it was a terrific pickup by Shenton, wasn't it? Given the handball that was given to him. Now to a one-on-one. Lumumba has to turn awkwardly, which meant Membry could dictate the play. Lumumba fights the good fight. Gets the handball up nonetheless. Charging through Armitage. Brayshaw stayed over the footy, but then just had to give the handball up at a critical moment on the 50. Oh, they buff it in illegally.
Who's
It's the
50-50, I nearly thought.
He came in and hit the legs low. But what I loved about Armitage there was the work rate. He was involved in the handball. Ringer Rosie at the other end of the ground, and he was down there winning the ball.
And the switch is on now. Lyndon Dunn.
This slow play is actually playing into the hands of St Kilda. They're getting behind the ball. They're intercept marking at will, and these high bombs are not working.
The height was there for Gawn, but it's knocked away from him. Viney had a quick glance inside, didn't like what he saw. Riley had to get rid of Dunstan. Oh, big Gawn. Another handball. Tyson, they're just passing the pressure from one to each other. Watts didn't panic. It was good play by Jack Watts. They could have easily turned it over. They still might. Gawn back to Watts again, and that's a perfect pass onto the chest of Brayshaw.
I tell you what, they made a meal of it, mate. They made hard work of it.
It's pretty bad handballs, but in the end it came up with one of their best attacking kickers. He summed it up beautifully there, Jack. Great vision and good disposal. Set up this shot at goal.
Sometimes you just got to play in those sort of conditions, don't you, where it is ugly and messy, and just get through it and know that you're not going to be able to be, run through or get a nice kick. You've got a handball. You will get it out. They did, and Jack Watts' kick was brilliant.
Missed his earlier shot, doesn't miss this one. Crucial goal for the D's, kicked by Angus Brayshaw. 4 goals for the season for him, and Melbourne almost back on parity with the Saints. It's a 3-point margin.
Well, there's not too much to dislike about this kid, Angus Brayshaw, Bomber. He has done it all as a youngster, including finishing skills, but he's a brute inside and he's a hard worker.
Goal kicker, he marks the ball and he wins his own ball. So he can get it either way.
He was there for a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A couple of minutes remaining in this first quarter, and a good even start. Gawn back in the middle with Longer. And there's the kick once again from Jack Watts, finding Brayshaw.
Great jump from Billy Longer.
He's going to have to do it again.
I don't think Max can jump too much. He's too tall.
Line ball, but it was Vince who got it to Jones. That's how they started the game, those two. Gilbert with his eyes on it, but he couldn't quite complete the mark. Once again, the pressure on the Saints' defence. And no one able to get it out cleanly. Viney is lurking once again. Doesn't get an opportunity.
If you're on Sam Gilbert, you should be instructed to get him out of that central corridor, because too often he's been involved in turning the ball around.
He's taken 2 intercept marks already, Jared. I think it's more about the way it's coming in. The high ball is not serving them well.
Saints a chance to clear. Down towards centre wing, towards Bruce. Fisted away from him. Armitage did well. Trying to get through as Minchington. Tried to get the hand pass to Ross. Now Ross has got a problem. He's caught. Jones didn't take the lightning hand pass, but he butters up for another one. He does it well. Gives it to Viney, who floats a high kick up towards the 50. Which way will it bounce? Chance for Pedersen. Got to beat a couple. But he got it out to jumping Jeremy Howe. Howe snaps at goal. Bends it back, but not enough, and one behind.
Does anyone tell me what he's trying to do there? Was he trying to be a bit too smart, or?
Not sure, but
He lost balance, I think, but it's a good
lost
question.
balance trying to get onto his right foot, where a left foot would have allowed him to just do it without any pressure. But much better pressure skills from Melbourne, turning the Saints ball back over and giving themselves a repeat entry.
Just little spurts of momentum for either team. Who's going to capitalise? Montagna back to the wing. They have the numbers. Jetta sorted out. Stretch. Back to Jetta. Happy to handball, even though the next player's not necessarily in a great position. Toompas confronted as well. Gilbert with those long arms, and the Toomp got crushed from both sides. And we'll have a ball up.
So occasionally, when two players get put together, Nathan Jones and Bernie Vince look like they've been playing together for years, don't they? Yeah.
They both had good starts in this term.
Nunes was the third up. Back to the wing to Jetta. Grimes coming strongly, but realising he was running into a brick wall. Got out of it somehow. Jack Watts goes back even further and tempts fate, but finds Riley nonetheless, and he breaks, turn them on the inside. Back to Jones. Can this turn into something? He's going long. He's going straight down towards full forward, hoping that Howe can use his natural advantage, and Hogan's down there as well. This is gone. Flicks it out. Tyson, start, and it's away to the right from...
Well, it was interesting watching Leigh Montagna. He's the one that would appear to be given the responsibility of Nathan Jones, but he was with Jones. There was a turnover. He charged forward, and then there was another turnover, and Jones is in the middle by himself.
It was Neil Bullen that had that last shot for goal, and that is the end of the opening quarter. And the Saints 3-5-23 lead Melbourne 3-4-22. You can make arguments for both sides from that opening term. We'll talk more about it when we return to Etihad Stadium. We've got ourselves a terrific contest here at Etihad.
Welcome back to Etihad. Alistair Lynch spending the day with Paul Roos in the Melbourne camp and keeping a close eye on the quarter-time address. David King, no doubt, will be looking after St Kilda, an even first term in which St Kilda eventually holds sway by just the one solitary behind. 3-5, 23 to 3-4. Riewoldt, Membry and Loney, all single goal scorers for the Saints. Jesse Hogan opened with a couple in a blaze of glory, and Brayshaw has one for the Demons. Let's go down to the Demon huddle. Lynchy, you've been following them so far in the game. What can you tell us?
Thanks, Sandy. I think they're pretty content that they're in the contest. There's probably a few issues as far as intercept marks across half-back for St Kilda. As we mentioned halfway through that first term, Sam Gilbert took two, pretty much uncontested. That's a really important factor. They've got to lower their eyes when kicking the ball inside forward 50. And on the back of that, there's been a number of handballs through the middle of the ground. What Ruzzi's saying, as soon as you square your shoulders towards goal, kick the ball and lower the eyes in. David King at the Saints huddle.
Well, Alan Richardson's here. He's demanding that his team get in first for the ball for the contested footy around the clearances. 15-5 first possession, -7 in ground ball, and he is reading the riot act in here. He thinks they've got them on the outside with their speed and their ball use, their aggressive work off half-back he's really excited about, but he wants them to be tougher in tight.
Jared, briefly, and Bomber, how did you see the first quarter?
Well, Kingy's spot on, as is Alan Richardson. If you look at the contested ball numbers, it's 26 to St Kilda and 38 to the Demons. Both sides have been reasonably wasteful inside their forward 50, Bomber, but I think that's also to do with the fact that they're two sides at the bottom end of the ladder. The skill level is down a little bit, but the pressure's right up.
The pressure's up, isn't it?
So the coaches will be pleased with what they're doing as far as pressure is concerned, getting the ball back, but there's a lot of work to be done with the ball when they've got it.
Yeah, St Kilda are a quick team, and they obviously can put pressure. If you throw the ball around in circles by handball, you're going to be in trouble. So if they can get some handballs but still gaining distance coming through the middle of the ground, that's what probably Ruzzi wants. He wants some nice open forward line, low kicks into some forwards.
Start of the second term then from Etihad Stadium. Good contest in the middle. Bodies crashing in. Maybe one held a little bit too long by Toompas, but no joy for Nunes there from the umpire.
What's great to see is two ruckmen actually trying to hit the ball. Billy Long has just got a little bit more of a jump on Max Gorn, but he's still trying to win the ball. There's too many ruckmen at centre clearances now, just trying to negate the opposition player.
Vince skies it to half forward. And it set well, didn't it, for Gilbert, who comes out, released it quickly, finds Jack Stephen.
Looks like he's excited about playing again, doesn't he? He's just running like a madman, getting the ball.
Stephen kicks from the wing to half forward. And it comes to Montagna, brilliantly sharked off the pack to Weller at full pace. He tries to push Viney away, and you do argue at your own peril with Jack Viney.
Well, that's one of the tackles of the year so far, Bomber. They're difficult to grab when you get the push off. He also
Tackled an arm. He tackled an arm.
He armed him.
It would have hurt too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he came up looking a little worse for wear as Viney drives back to the wing for the Demons. Big fly from Pedersen, but again, it's the Saints' Minchington who darts around everywhere, and it's under pressure. The kick was superb from Nunes, and Riewoldt can line up.
Another double entry. Saints just getting the ball back inside their forward 50. Demons having trouble getting it out.
Jared, that's 3 ground balls in succession to the Saints. Alan Richardson, he made no mistake in getting that message across at quarter time, and they've responded.
He'd be happy with the response, and he'd be really thrilled if this one goes through to give them some just reward for their work.
So Nick Riewoldt playing his 152nd game here at Etihad Stadium. He's pretty comfortable, that's for sure. That's his second, and the Saints lead is now 7.
He's been an amazing player, Kingy, Nick Riewoldt, over the years. But the one thing he's always had some issues with is his goal kicking. He sort of worked his way a bit like Tiger Woods. He's changed his swing about 6 times. But right now, I think his goal kicking is the best it's ever been in his entire career from a set shot.
The last couple of years, hasn't it?
And right now, he's far, far better than Tiger Woods is.
You're spot on. He's made the cut on more than 2 or 3 occasions in recent months, Andy.
How well does he run for a guy who's had a bung knee for the last 8 years? He's an incredible athlete. How much room did he have then? Where was his opponent? It was like we had 20 metres of space.
Daylight. So a good start by the Saints in the second quarter. Longer and gone again. Longer wins it. And Montagna out of the middle. Now how's the bounce for Riewoldt? Well, the idea was correct to just try and tap it on. He did it beautifully. He gives it to Minchington. Here's another one to the Saints. Minchington gets his first. 2 in a minute.
It's been impressive, the young kid Minchington. He looks a whole lot like Joe Montagna out there, but that's a brilliant kick around the corner.
He's been playing good footy in the VFL from all reports, and he just looks dangerous, doesn't he?
He does. He's had a number of possessions, and this is instinctive. He had a quick look and then went ping.
Probably getting his chance with Sinclair and Snyder being forced to go back to the rookie list.
And that needs to be looked at, Bomber, when you've got to be forced players back to the rookie list.
It's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? A lot of rules they could fix up and get right, couldn't they? Game's not perfect.
Need a response here, the Demons.
From the middle, Gawn got it down. And again, the Saints were controlling things, but an important turnover. Viney kicked blindly, futile in the end. Oh, Gilbert's dropped the mark. Maybe it won't be futile. Stretch! Oh, brilliant tackle, Eakley. Good to get the ball to boot somehow there, Sam Gilbert. Saved them a goal.
Well, that was just by chance that ball hit the boot. That was a brilliant tackle from Billy Stretch. Let's have another look.
The kick's actually remarkably similar to his set shot about 15 minutes ago.
Sell our own goal. In fact, an own point.
Dempster. Wobbly old, ugly-looking puck, but Savage appreciated it. So he does play on. Bruce has come a long way out. Now, out the back, an opportunity for Jack Loney. Brayshaw's with him. Loney and Brayshaw, 2 young guns. Brayshaw has it held and he's hammered over the line. Good contest.
Great defensive running from Brayshaw. Then it was a good battle with Loney. Great to watch 2 young guys trying to make their mark on the gun.
Throw in again. Gawn got a hand to it. Armitage, Savage. It's the hand pass clear. Nunes. Just a hurried left footer going down towards the forward line. The mark's not going to be paid.
Must have grasped it. But what I like about St Kilda at the stoppages, Bomber, they get width with their first handball. Let's see if this hit the deck.
Yes. Did hit the ground.
Longer wins it. Savage will see it over the line.
All you want as a coach is a response. I know we're harping a little bit on this, but 9-3 of the contested possessions in this quarter in favour of St Kilda. Melbourne need to get their game going, and it's a clearance-based game. They need to get their hands on the ball.
Well, Mav Weller's been given the directive to get inside Nathan Jones's jumper and don't leave it.
Gawn out the back. I think he was looking for Cross. Didn't find him. Jones, body in, but couldn't take it cleanly. Now Howe will fly. Crush, crunch. And it's going against Howe and Watts, and it's going to be taken by Weller.
I thought they hit each other.
Yeah.
Weller has the ball. Saints lead by a couple of goals. Sets it up, gives everyone a chance to run and jump at it. It was the perfect spot for where Bruce loves to jump and take big hangers, but not this time. Gone, Lumumba finds a way out. Delicate kick, and it was to the advantage of Tumpus.
Good defence there by Melbourne. They were in a very exposed position, and they won the ball in tight. And it was great execution from Lumumba.
Not a lot on for Tumpus, hence the decision to go down the line as far as he could. Howe's recovery was the best, but Gilbert comes back at it, and he in turn cops it from Brayshaw, holding the ball. Advantage, well, should have been paid, or could have been paid, but not going to be. And now it's up to Brayshaw to dispose of it. Oh, horrendous kick, sadly. Intercepted by Bruce, who has to decide, does he press go or wait?
Well, Angus was lucky that there wasn't another spare running hard forward.
And that was one to spoil because the ball was chipped up too high for Jack Stephen. And there's Brayshaw. He gets back into the thick of it straight away. Grimes and Tumpus and Cross. He'll be trying to get it out of bounds. I thought he would have, but decided to keep attacking, and they keep it alive, but not for long.
Great tackle.
Alex Neil-Bourne getting a taste of the top-level footy, the young South Australian. Played senior footy with Glenelg last year, but this is another level again. Jack Nunes, the tackler. And goes for Revolt. Tried and true.
Well, they need a response here. The Demons have been challenged by St Kilda, who've kicked the last couple of goals. An opportunity now to kick 3 in a row. But it's more the intensity around the football that St Kilda have elevated to another gear.
Certainly have. They've run them down, chased them down, haven't they? Taken their time off them. And a few blokes have been caught in the process of delivering the ball by foot and been run down and given a free kick against.
So here's Revolt. What a start this has been for the quarter for the Saints. Another one, that's 3. And that's the margin. It's 3 for Revolt as well for the day. 3 goals, 2. And that puts a big difference between these two sides.
Well, he's kicked the most goals ever. Any player at Etihad Stadium, 386. Geez, he's pinging them from all angles, left and right side.
It's a really interesting game. I haven't got my head around the game. I know that Melbourne have been beaten on the way back to goal. So,
You see the record there.
He's already got 3 goals.
Yeah, he's off to a flyer. And Tom McDonald, who said last week that his head was spinning when he was up against...
He's going to be spinning again.
He's got to learn from that, doesn't he? And just put that behind him and take the next contest as it comes.
He might have a week in bed if this keeps up. Gone. Looking for Vince. Under pressure. Bernie on all 4s. He can't get out. No one can because Minchington's got it locked up with Montagna.
He won't agree to another TV show before he plays the game.
Especially if Rewalk's invited in as well. Oh, dear. Now, the race is on. Cross comes charging at it. Geary takes it. Well done. That was by Membry. Geary. Pass has got to be good here. Just not quite enough on it. And the Melbourne defence feeling the pressure at the moment. Wonderful smother by Rewalt. They're not out of strife yet. They're still not. They get caught. Tackled. Ball spills free. Back to Vince again. Kicks up towards centre wing. The youngster couldn't take it. That was Stretch. He's beaten by Savage. Savage hand pass to Ray. Ray off to Bruce. Back towards Savage once again. He backpedals to Montagna. Gives a little time. Bruce.
Well, they've made this change. Bruce has pushed up the ground and they've isolated Rewald and McDonald as deep as possible. And it was a great effort by McDonald there. He's under the pump, but he's still kept attacking.
Helicopter punt by Bruce. Goes up towards the forward line. An opportunity for Dom Tyson. Dangerous kick. And an excellent mark by Jesse Hogan. Now, they got the runners out wide. They got Watts. They got Lumumba. Jack's in trouble. He shrugs one. Flicks it in towards the middle. That's going to be okay. Finds Riley. Riley goes longer to jumping Jeremy. Doesn't need to jump. In fact, he dropped what he should have taken. Bruce defends for the Saints.
And they're on their way out again. Shenton just hacks it to the wing, though. They've got the numbers, the resources there, the D's, that for a moment skipped a beat or two as the bounce was very fluky. Riley has the responsibility to hit a target inside 50. That's not going to be easy. Hogan comes out full-chested and nearly dragged it down against the numbers. Big tackle laid by Viney. He's trying his guts out in there to win the ball back, and he does jump on it in the end.
It's like St Kilda know where the ball's going to be kicked to, don't they? They know it's going to be kicked long and deep. It's a bit too predictable.
There's a reflection of the pressure being applied with all the top tacklers on the ground being Saints. Jack Nunes with 6. Pedersen slapped it back. Geary, Stretch, Viney. A couple of famous demon names, father-sons.
It's not a good side, is it, these forward stoppages with all the numbers around like this?
Too many.
Yeah.
Watts.
Like a rugby squad.
And Montagna escorts it through from behind. And then instantly kicks in to try and generate something, and it might pay off in the end.
Yeah, Geary.
We've got a goal umpire who's midway up the ground.
He's got to bring the ball all the way back.
Oh, why? Because of the flag, he didn't put his finger up.
He hadn't actually signalled the behind.
Yeah, he has signalled. Now he's just completed official proceedings. So the ball heads all the way back.
It's very important.
It's interesting. Normally they do it straight away. He obviously needed something from
He wanted the eye contact from the central umpire, and he couldn't quite get it.
Now we've got it back.
One thing that you do notice at ground level is how infectious this forward 50 or forward half tackle pressure is. They're thriving on it. Every time that St Kilda teammates see one of their fellow forwards lay a tackle, they want to get involved, and they just hunt in packs.
We can just see there all St Kilda players are down the corridor, and then they break wide, try and take them there. You've got to be in communication with the bloke who's got the football, though. No point kicking it straight to the defence.
And that's Grimes, who sends it back from whence it came. Hogan used the body. May run out of room in the pocket. Montagna beats him to the line with the footy.
Teams set up so well now, don't they, that it's very hard to get the ball out when it's deep. Like Melbourne have just had it in there for about 3 or 4 minutes, and St Kilda have it for 3 or 4 minutes.
Hogan did everything well there, bar bumper early enough to be able to come back to the footy.
Pedersen did well. Vince flick round the body, only as far as Longer. Montagna gives it to Geary.
Good run.
He says we're getting out of here, and does exactly that, finding Dempster. Dempster goes wide. It's a 2-on-1 battle here. Tommy McDonald will be first to recover. The big man chases after it, the boy from Edenhope Apsley, but he's lost the football now. The race is on once again. Grimes has it. Tried to flick it across to Cross. He's successful in that. Back to McDonald. He's inside 50. Big Tom goes with a hand pass. It had to be quick. Watts takes it quickly from Jenner. And eventually they go wide. That kick coming from Stretch, just poking it out to the pocket and Cross.
Well, all players in that passage were fighting themselves and fatigue, and they did it really well. They hung in there.
Howe gets an important fist in. Stretch, feeling the heat. Has he done enough? He's done enough at least to avoid a free kick.
You get the feeling when you're watching them that you want to tell the Melbourne player to get rid of it because someone's going to tackle you. Just get rid of it.
The pressure's been enormous.
Well, feel free, Bomber, as Ray kicks inside 50. Bruce, the little nudge. Oh, it wasn't a little nudge, apparently. It was a big one. There's a bit of hands in the back action. You want us to open the window for you, Bomber?
Let a response out of their skipper, Nathan Jones, here. He's been curtailed too many times when the hard tag's gone on. Now, Weller's gone on in a quarter time when he had 14. He hasn't touched the ball in this term. Now, the coach can help him out. He can put him onto a Jack Stephen, for instance.
Yeah, that's what we talked about pre-game, didn't we? So certainly do that.
Watts a bit perplexed there. His time expired. He kicks it to half forward. At the back is Geary. He's got the boundary line, and Big Maxi gone. He liked his chances against the big fella. Brings it in. Savage dabs it for Revolt. Not the clean pickup, and look at the recovery. Back to Montagna again as they scoot across half back. A challenging kick, but a pretty good one to Seb Ross, who meets it in front of Cross. Looks to link up, but Melbourne have got most bases covered. Not this one, though. The hard running being rewarded again. Jimmy Webster.
Fatigue is becoming a huge issue here. Who can run into the danger time?
Dunstan, only 3 goals kicked in this quarter, all from the Saints. As he arcs around, kicks towards full forward. And the height with Gawn doesn't drag it down. Josh Bruce, it's finally flicked out to Seb Ross, and it's 4 for the quarter. Loney gave him the handball. Ross kicks his first. And the margin is 23. They'd be getting a bit concerned in the Melbourne box, Alistair Lynch. You've got to say Lynchy.
He kicked out.
Well, he would be concerned, the Demon box. Max Gawn's run the length of the field to get there, but he didn't take the mark. Then there was 3 Melbourne players surrounding Seb Ross. No one was there giving him the respect he needed because he had the footy in his hands. Everybody looking for the ball and not worrying about the defence.
I think that's when you bring a young group in together. They all just learn on the job. At Melbourne, Paul Roos are trying to sort of fix up sort of older players been around for a little bit longer and mixed with the new.
Down to you, Kingy.
This is the game here, boys, the pressure gauge. The more pressure the Saints put on, the more they expose Melbourne. Plus 29 pressure points. That will have a 100% strike rate on it.
Here's Bruce, gives it to Stephen. Is this another one? No, it's not. It's away from Dunstan.
Just to explain that, Hutto, if you win the pressure head-to-head, what your opponents are able to apply to you and what you're able to apply to them, you win basically 60% of games. If you can win it by 5, it goes up to 70%. And so on. So plus 29. That'd be a world record for the season.
Is that what it is right now?
Yeah.
Ooh.
From the kick in, Gawn couldn't complete the mark. Dunstan back into the pocket, rewalts the target. Right there with him is Lyndon Dunn. And it's over the line. Let's go back to Lynchy. Lynchy?
Yeah, thanks, Sandy. And speaking about the pressure, certainly the reaction from the Melbourne players is they're elevating the handball, which causes more pressure down the field than the turnovers. And certainly in the first 5 or 10 minutes, Nunes was driving the ball inside forward 50 too often. He had 4 inside 50s in the first 10 minutes of this quarter.
Weller's gone on to Jones, Lynchy, after having 14 possessions. He hasn't touched it in this quarter. Would they look to make a move there?
Well, they're looking at reshuffling because Weller was coming off the half-back line and going straight on the Jones, and the midfielder was pushing forward, which caused those first 2 goals. So they've got that back under control at the moment, but might have to do something with Jones.
Cross to Riley. Takes a good mark in opposition to Jimmy Webster. Still well outside 50, though. Goes back to Cross.
Inside forward 50s. It's a real concern. You've got a real gun down there in Jesse Hogan. The ball's gone in for Melbourne just 4 times in this term. St Kilda 13.
4 times for 2 behinds. And they're not going to add to that because standing in front of the galloping hordes was Ray. They're going to get out of trouble through to Loney. Tucked in the back pocket. He goes to Rewalt, who marks strongly in front of Lyndon Dunn.
Tommy McDonald on the bench. Kingy getting a rest. He's been given a nice old workout athletically by Nick Rewalt.
Yeah, and he's just coming back on. It'll be interesting to see what the strategy is here because Dunn's going with Rewalt up the ground as they turn the ball over.
Poor kick.
That's just too cute.
Taken by Vince, who goes bang with a big bomb inside 50. But delightfully chopped off once again by Delaney.
He's been a good player for St Kilda since his pickup.
Gilbert.
Loney's got to learn from that. You can't be clever coming out of defence. Got to hit that target.
Sam Gilbert. Lightning left footer goes up towards the half-back line. Savage will be first to it, maybe. Cork was Shenton and slung to the ground in a 360. So we'll have another stoppage.
He's had a good quarter, Shane Savage, for the Saints. He's their #1 possession getter. He's also had 3 tackles, working hard through the middle.
Been a real even quarter for them, hasn't it? You look at all those players who got 4 and 5 possessions. As you said, Savage the most. Here's Hogan! Bang!
Hogan!
At last. A Melbourne goal in the quarter, their first. The Saints have kicked 4, and that's 3 goals for Jesse Hogan, who kicked 2 early ones and looked like he was going to have a field day. He's added another before half-time.
He just read the ball the best. You get it in there often enough, this kid will return. And isn't that fantastic to see from a Melbourne perspective. There's the future. Brayshaw to Hogan.
Does he remind you of any previous forward, Jesse Hogan, Jared?
Well, they all remind you a little bit of somebody, but I mean, there's a bit of Jonathan Brown in him. There's a bit of Wayne Carey. He's a big, tall, athletic midfield forward. He could play in the midfield like Carey could or Brown could, but he's very smart in that forward half.
He's got a gate-like weight, striding around back in the middle, and it's going to be Ray who had to go at it. He did. Brayshaw, well controlled. Viney, delightfully done. Now they're away. That came from the Tumpers. Back to Viney. He'll kick a goal from here. 40 metres out. He goes for goal and he gets it 2 in a minute to the Demons.
So I like those handballs. Those handballs are the ones that are moving forward, taking the ball forward. They're not going backwards and sideways, which puts pressure on the defenders of the opposition, and it doesn't allow the St Kilda players to get back into play and defend.
Well, I'm not surprised at this because St Kilda have been working that hard. Eventually, fatigue had to hit them at some stage. And Melbourne's got the momentum. They've got a couple of good goals. One was more systematic, like this particular one. The other one was just good grunt work and Hogan getting on the end of it. But that's a fine finish from Jack Viney. His kicking's not his strong point. Something he needs to improve on, but that was a beauty.
A couple of quick goals makes a world of difference. Back to 12 points, much more manageable for the Demons. Let's see what the Saints' response is. Jack Stephen has had a hard time getting clear. This time, Dunstan gets them going. Out of the middle, just eased into the 50 again. Tough one for Bruce. And they're able to double back. Lyndon Dunn.
Well undone. It was a nothing kick coming in. May have been a bad lead, I'm not sure, but it certainly was a poor kick.
Sebros took it into the 50. Watts, that's a brave kick, the centre half back. Grimes to Lumumba. Tyson on offer. Stephen not far away, so kick had to be better than that if you're going to make that choice. And now the Saints can perhaps capitalise. And pretty comfortable for Josh Bruce. That was a disappointing turnover for Melbourne, but a good one for the Saints.
Clean them up, boys.
Just have a rule. You kick the ball in the middle of the ground, then you wouldn't go further out. You know, that second kick went to the boundary line to
Lumumba?
Was it? Yeah. That was a total waste of time. You should have started going towards their goals then.
Straight down the corridor.
Yeah, Bruce puts this through. We'll have another look at what you're chatting about there, Bomber. It's right in front. Bruce goes back and it's straight through. So that's the response the Saints fans were looking for. Josh Bruce hasn't had a huge amount of opportunities today in front of the sticks. He's put that through his first goal, and the Saints back to an 18-point lead.
Difference between the two teams.
Well, there was that Lumumba kick. He was on the receiving end of the second kick. And what you're saying is that rather than go wide to Lumumba, attack down the middle.
Yeah, and you'd be further down the ground, and if you do turn the ball over there, it's not as bad. But where they turned the ball over, it was a dangerous position. And St Kilda, they'd nearly be one of the best teams at punishing those sort of turnovers, wouldn't they? Number one.
So we're back to an 18-point ball game inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. But an entertaining contest unfolding here at Etihad. Gawn waits down, Longer floats over the top. Armitage came off second best and trying to get it out. It's behind the pack and in a spot of bother. Viney also slung out of that group.
Just having a look at their defensive half work at the moment, Melbourne. I mean, you're against the best pressure forward half team in the competition. It's St Kilda. And their handball to kick ratio is well out of whack. 38 kicks, 58 handballs. It's just inviting pressure. It's just encouraging
They're doing it deliberately, Kingy. They're doing it on purpose.
Well, it's almost as if they want to accept that challenge head on and are challenging the Saints, where the Saints haven't let them down. They've met that challenge.
No, they've been fantastic.
Armitage, the recipient of a free kick, taken high. And no one on the mark, so Armo's away. Here comes Rewalt, but the kick a little too much on it. Or Mitchington's at the back, but he can't get clear. May get another opportunity. Watts tries to charge his way through, but hasn't got the strength. Loney there, working hard for the Saints. So too Vince for the Demons with Tumpas. And we'll have a stoppage. 35 out from the Saints scoring zone. Watts. Did he throw it away? Well, Montagna gets a hurried kick towards Lowe. He traps it beautifully. He steps at goal and he kicks a little ripper. Well done, Jack. That's his second. And if the D's kicked a couple on the trot, the Saints hit back just as hard.
Well, it's a fierce little hunter, this bloke.
Yes.
He was after it like a little terrier. And, I mean, he was out of position there, and then all of a sudden he got himself into position, went straight past Lyndon Dunn and delivered a goal.
Well, I think they've just recruited blokes who are footy smart and well-rounded. That's what I think they've done, and they just look like they can play already as well together. I know they haven't won many games and everything, but I'm very, very optimistic about this team's future.
The biggest issue this year, I think, has been playing the 4 quarters. They could have had a few more wins.
Yeah,
they were well in control of the game in New Zealand in about round 2 or 3.
Particularly their last quarters, Jared, they've been a problem.
But you can understand why. They are working particularly hard on their defence, and they may just run out of juice until their bodies get more mature.
Brayshaw got upended there by Billy Longer. He's a tough young unit, but that would have hurt. 6 goals to 2 for the quarter. Jones sends them deep again. Hogan gets a run at it. He's going to have to do it on his own, I think, down there, Jenna.
Seen a few stars of the future here today, I think.
Well, it's a great tap. It started in the middle. It's a really good tap to Jones, who just, I mean, this has been their best play. Long bombs to Hogan, and he hasn't let them down so far.
And that was Nathan Jones's first possession this quarter after he had 14 in the opening term. So Hogan for his 4th, keeping the D's in it here at Etihad. Right through the middle. How many is he going to have to kick for Melbourne to win?
8 now.
I think we said 8 early in the piece. I'm just looking forward to the day, Sandy, when you're calling Port Adelaide and Melbourne and Schultz is up the other end of the ground.
He sees nothing, and Hogan is in trouble.
Look at that. It's a really good tap from Jack Watts. 3rd man up, yes, but smart play. He's an instinctive footballer, Jack Watts. He's got lots and lots of great assets, and this is one of them. Look at this. That set up the goal as much as anything.
Well, Bobby said if he needs to get 8, he's ahead of target because he's got 4 and it's not half time as yet. Brayshaw after that heavy knock with
Tackle,
Longer.
he got hurt, yeah.
So a couple of minutes remaining. Can they add to it? Viney out of the middle. Gets the hand pass away to Cross, and that's Polly Farmer-esque almost, that hand pass. Vince spears it up towards half forward. Howe couldn't take it, but he accepts the hand pass, and he goes in towards the pocket. Is it going to be too wide? It is right on the boundary line. And boundary umpire says, no, we'll throw it in. Thought it could have gone out on the full. Very, very close. Hogan a target again. And why not? He's kicked 4. Longer tried to get it out the back, but with difficulty. They're letting it try to get out. Vince got the hand pass away to Gawn. Gawn flicks it towards Howe. And we know what he can do. In fact, it wasn't Howe, it was Garlett. It was Garlett who kicked the goal. So he gets his first. And all of a sudden, Melbourne now provide an answer. It's back to a 2-goal ball game.
Just his 2nd kick of the day, too.
I was going to say, I didn't actually know whether he was playing or not.
Well, I think there's a number of players in the Melbourne forward line that have been ineffective so far. Jeremy Howe's only had 1 possession in this term, but as we said earlier, the inside 50s have been well down for the Demons in this particular term, but they're starting to get their opportunities in the last 5 minutes, and this is a pretty good sign for Melbourne. They haven't played great footy yet. They're just 2 goals down, so they're well and truly in this match.
Webster's done a terrific job. They've been at it all day, those two, just niggling little elbows into each other. The umpires warned them a few times. Important 90 seconds here. Saints trying to preserve their 2-goal lead. Jack Watts again looking for a big touch out of the middle, goes back to Viney, conceding some ground for just a little while before they move forward. It's taking a lot longer than they would have liked. Cross Not always the best kick in the world. That one of the wing. Brayshaw, war one for the team.
That's a free kick.
That's a good player too. Like, he's come off the ground injured and he just put his body in. He knew his head was going to get hit when he was going for that marking contest.
Looking for that inside corridor kick, and Watts has been there, and he's finally got it. That's good for Melbourne because he usually makes good decisions with the ball in his hand.
Banks to McDonald.
16 possessions, Watt. It's a big half so far.
Hogan is deep, and so is Maxi Gawn, so they've got the height there. Gawn's coming. Oh, and he nearly dragged it down. Webster feeling it. And it's a ball up. 38 seconds on the clock.
Can Max mark the ball? Those ones? Can he?
He's taken some marks, but that was set there for him. He's
Jones and Savage working together, and Tompus working together. The opposite number 5. And Tompus puts it through for his first, and they're back within 6 points.
with 31 seconds of play remaining. They have owned this last 5 or 6 minutes. Let's have a look at where it comes from. And it was just straight tap to Tompus. Good finish.
It is fatiguing there because look at the St Kilda players. Not many of them moving here.
Yeah.
All just standing still.
They spent a lot of petrol tickets early. And Melbourne have hung in there. And now it's their turn.
Hogan, Tompus and Garlett, all with goals to their names, and suddenly they're right back in it.
Hope they don't win Kingy with the pressure rater factor of 29 plus.
30 seconds remaining. Jones out of the middle, he pumps it high. They need a mark. Where's Jesse? Who's in front of the pack, couldn't complete it. Now the defence through Savage comes wide for the Saints. Precious seconds tick away. Lumumba's got to give chase, and he's still got to chase Ross because he just tumbled it over. Cross and Cole will be happy to see it over the line. He is, and we've got to throw it.
And I think, Kingy, that pressure meter would show exactly what's happened to the Saints' pressure, and it's basically gone to zero.
And the goals from stoppages is where this has turned around. That's Melbourne's game. That's their style. They like to play a methodical game built on the back of winning clearances.
10 seconds remaining. Perhaps time only for St Kilda now. Tyson.
Q's in the rack.
Very well marked on centre wing. Everyone in one half of the ground. But a fascinating first half of football. And it's line ball at quarter time, and it's still line ball at half time, with St Kilda holding a 6-point margin at the long break after leading by 7 points at quarter time.
Before David King catches up with Jack Noon, just a quick thought. Jared and Bomber, it's just about there, I think. In fact, let's get to Kingy now.
Jack, a tough finish to the quarter. They really put it to you, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They were first to the ball, and they got it out of the middle and got it going forward, and they kicked a few goals. So pretty disappointing last 10 minutes for us. Yeah, we'll go have a spell now and bounce back after half time.
What was the communication like at the end of that quarter? I saw Nick Rewell go behind the ball to try and settle things down.
Yeah, it's good leadership from Roo. You know, he saw that they were kicking a few goals, so he went behind the ball. We put another one back there just because only 30 seconds left. We didn't want to get another one on the board for them.
Get in there, mate. Not sure the coach will be too happy to see you, but get in there anyway.
Jack Newnes there.
Well, how much energy has this St Kilda team got left? They certainly put everything into it, and at one stage were right on top, but Melbourne kicked the last 3 goals of the second quarter, and in fact 5 of the last 7 goals. So the Saints would have had plenty to work with at the major break. The Demons just about looked down and out, but suddenly with those late goals right into this contest as we get ready for the third term. It's St Kilda 9-6-60 leading Melbourne 8-6-54. There's some intriguing head-to-head battles here, Sandy, taking place in the midfield.
Indeed there are, and one in particular that's worth having a look at is the battle between David Armitage and Bernie Vince. Vince leads the disposal count 20-13. He leads the contested possession 8-6 and clearances 6-5, but that is a very, very good contest. Not the only one on the ground, and we'll look at others as the second half continues to unfold. But Melbourne finishing the second quarter in a flurry and looking to build on that. St Kilda at one stage looked as though they might break away with perhaps a 5 or 6 goal lead at half time. That wasn't the case. Just one straight kick in it. And really looking forward to the second half.
Both these teams have won just 2 third quarters this year, so that's not the sort of form that would give you enormous confidence going into the The old premiership quarter.
Yep, and even more importantly, the final quarter has proved difficult for both of these sides. Saints have won only 3 final quarters, Melbourne 4, but here we go. This is the third. And it's going to be Gawn and Billy Longer to open proceedings again. Won by the Big Demon. Taken by Bernie Vince. Goes with a sweeping hand pass. Picked up by Jones. Tumbles a punt into no man's land at centre half forward. Delaney leaves his man. Charges his arm. Tries to get out of strife but loses the footy. Armitage is there to assist and he does well. Gives it to Jimmy Webster. Webster goes to the outer side. Bruce tumbling dice. Montagna's away. Gets the hand pass to Nunes. On he goes down towards Membry. Membry marks outside 50. He can go short to Ross or shorter to Rewald. It's the latter. Ricochets off his boot. McDonald is there. Lumumba is there. Tumpas is there. In trouble. Ross almost threw it to Montagna. He let it go, and the mark has been taken by Lyndon Dunn.
And he's got options through the middle. Takes Brayshaw, needs the bounce to accommodate, eventually does. Runner was almost in the way. Kick went on its wandering path way out to half forward, and not really in any great direction as far as the Demons were concerned. Pretty easily rounded up. Webster, after Geary did the initial work, was able to bring it back into the middle of the ground. Now, Weller just working through the options.
Opportunity lost there for the Demons. It was 2 poor kicks in succession from Lyndon Dunn and then from Angus Brayshaw that should have ended up with a ball inside their forward 50.
Instead, the ball's out of bounds here at half forward. Just drops a fraction short. He split the throw in. Weller again at the coalface. Nunes. Cross. Wandering bounce. He had Viney maybe too close really to receive a handball like that. And the ball is out of bounds.
Billy, keep the meter. Billy, keep the meter. Hands off, Mav.
Yeah, the instructions. Weller being told to keep the hands off. Billy Longer being told to keep the meter on Gawn. Gawn maybe got the tap. Springing into action was Stretch and then Jones. There's some risk involved in that, but it comes off okay to McDonald, who can't keep going because there was no one to go to. Eventually something materialises, and it's Grimes whose hard work pays off.
Yeah, lovely delivery of the footy. His isn't bad either. Tumpas is in trouble, has got to give it away, and he does. Now they can steady to Lumumba. Watts back to Lumumba again. They get themselves in a pickle and then they've got to get out of it. Tumpas does to the outer side. It was dropped, but it's going to be all right to recover. That was Stretch. Billy's kick, however, is going to be chopped off.
A lot of possessions going nowhere for Melbourne. They've got marking forwards, one out. They haven't got a loose player down there at the moment, St Kilda, so Bomber may well be time to take a punt, kick it to a one-on-one long into the forward 50.
Yeah, I think so, Jared.
Dempster and Nunes. Ponder that, Bomber.
Yeah.
Nunes. Rewald.
Yeah.
It's a different forward setup, isn't it? Because you've got the long leading Rewald and Josh Bruce goes up the ground as well. Melbourne are trying to keep their boys at home.
Oh, Gilbert's called to go. And now he's been pinged. Billy Stretch, the recipient of the free kick. Razor says, play on, and he does. Jones calls out Bernie Vince, then gives it to Vince, who flicks it up towards the half-forward line. Maloney defends. Off he goes to Dunstan. Wobbly little kick, but it's going to finish with Dunstan again coming from Armitage, so it'll be okay. No damage done there. To the outer side, and Weller racing down and making move as Nunes. Went to play on and only succeeded in putting it over the line thanks to Pedersen.
So still a standoff here in the third term. Melbourne having real trouble getting past half forward, Jared, when they have had the ball in this term.
Well, they're electing to go slow, whereas their best was midfield win for the centre and then just ping it in there.
Farron Ray does ping it in for the Saints. Bruce and Dunn, good combat. Dunn has to be careful. He knew where the boundary was.
Just been a slow build-up in this term, Bomber. It hasn't had that frenetic energy that the first quarter had.
Yeah, some poor kicking and just the pace is off a little bit, isn't it?
Maybe some change in tactics at half-time too. Revolt hacks it forward. Nembry was in the right place. His recovery was pretty good, but Cross still with the strong reflexes. Tyson had to revise his decision, and they get out of there. Stretch, bends one around the corner.
Well, that is just reflex defence from Geary, who could easily have taken the chest mark.
Fascinating to watch this young St Kilda team play together. They sort of know what they're doing already, don't they? What one of them doing already. Amazing.
How do they compare to the young side you rebuilt down at Geelong many years ago?
It's funny because it does a little, in some ways, I'm looking at them thinking, yeah, it reminds me of them a little bit. They just hunt in packs, don't they? They look like they're a tight group.
They lead by 6, smashed away there by Daniel Cross, almost as good as a kick. And tumbled over the line by Savage.
This was the difference in the game. The first quarter, Melbourne were in first for the clearance possession, the first possession post the ruck tap, and that turned on its head for the first 15 minutes of the second term. That seems to be dictating the game.
Gaunt was holding.
So when you...
Maxi's looking at it saying, that can't be right, that can't be right, but I'm afraid it is.
What I like about what I see about St Kilda, Bomber, is unlike some coaches who have been in a rebuilding phase, they look as if they're playing the game now that they want to play in 3 or 4 years' time, when they're potentially playing for spots in the big grand final, in the big finals.
Yeah, well, that's the path I took too. I was going to play a contestable game, even balance, accountable, and we only lasted a half, then we last 3 quarters, and we got to a game.
Longer finds Membry. He's still outside 50. But he's heading towards Rewalt territory, who can't get a run at it. Ray's at the back. Watts will see it over the line.
What's being played in the forward half for St Kilda at the moment?
Goals for the moment. 2 have just dried up.
Yeah, I suppose if they've got that momentum and they've got the game in their half, they've got to score the goals while it's in there.
Yep.
Rewalt and McDonald going at it. Here's Ray, tried to find Rewalt again, but a poor hand pass. Now McDonald might take this one. He does. He's inside 50, Tommy. Oh, lovely little piece of work. Has a bounce, going to get caught, but nevertheless he's kicked the goal.
And look at him come.
Tommy McDonald, he had a shocker of a week last week, particularly in the first quarter, but he is back.
There's the time to smile, Tom. You've run 100 metres or so. You nearly fluffed it at the finish, but just mongrelled it through. That's a great passage of play. A poor handball from Farron Ray set this one up. Sometimes you've just got to control your reflexes. You just can't give to the socks or the jumper. If he's under pressure, you've just got to pull the trigger. And on that occasion, it was Tom McDonald who'd worked really hard.
Jared, his 4th goal in 71 games.
Yeah, well, it took Rod Carter 278 to get his first, Sandy. So he's actually, he's almost the Peter Hudson of fullbacks in comparison.
Oh, dear. Good stuff.
Well, he was brave enough to lead for the ball with Revolt next to him from the kick-in, so he was involved all the way. And eventually the goal takes the margin back to 1. It's as close as they've been since just after quarter time. So it's taken them a whole quarter to get back where they were. And now what happens next is the most interesting thing, as Jones lays over the top and was able to extract the ball. Montagna held him up, got some help from Minchington, who's putting the pressure on.
Right, straight up, straight up, straight up. Right, straight up. Billy contest the ruck.
Jones and Longer at it. No one wants to give in, give an inch to each other.
It's like 2 wrestlers.
Umpire Wallace tosses it up. Cross to Tompus. Interesting disposal. Allowed to pass. Here's Jack Watts, influential today. Again, didn't want to rush the handball, stretch to Tompus. All the tight spaces, then not much elbow room for either team. As the numbers multiply to ball up. Still some angst there between Jones and his opposition. Stretch. You can have a go, Sandy.
Well, both sides, Jared, just realise how important and what an opportunity it is to try and snare their 4th win of the season.
It looks like the focus at the moment is preventing the opposition from winning the ball rather than winning it yourself and kicking a goal.
Yeah.
I think if you win the ball, you know you're going to get hammered, don't you, with a tackle and with some body contact. That's
Tyson's kick is picked up by Gilbert, tackled as he tumbled a punt away towards Rewalt. Couldn't take it cleanly. Now an opportunity for the D's to steady through Lumumba. Back to Tumpas, just a little floater towards the boundary line, but kept in play. Saints still looking for a goal in this term. Tumpas back to Lumumba. We're back where we started. Cross is calling for it, but he hasn't seen him yet. Now he has.
Yeah, poor communication there by St Kilda.
Oh, the bouncing ball put pressure on Cross in the end. Minchington comes charging. He gets beautifully claimed by the opposition there. That was in Jetta. Now a chance for the D's once again. The hand pass set up by Grimes to Tumpas. They're wrestling on behind play. We'll let them go. Jones has got it in the middle. First one way, then the other. Can't get around Weller. Now he gets his kick, but Dempster was there. Couldn't complete the mark. Here's Jesse. Hogan. He's done it again. 5 goals to Jesse Hogan.
And they're in front, Alistair Lynch.
They're pretty happy too at the moment. Just they've been able to get big numbers around the contest and cause those multiple stoppages. And more importantly, when St Kilda have taken possession of the ball, they haven't been able to switch to the far side or the fat side and get into space that we saw in particular in that first 15 minutes of the second term. So at the moment, they're pretty happy the way things are going. Nathan Jones, importantly, getting back involved in the game as well.
And that's why this bloke's such a talent, because he can win it in a pack and he can work it and win it on the ground bomber.
Yeah, he's a very good young player. He's skinny, wiry, isn't he? And agile.
I think he's probably going to look a little bit different in 2 years' time when he puts a little bit of bulk on.
Out of the middle, Vince, they try and march through. Gone, off one, off 2. No, the second one was too high.
Hello, Cam Patterson's just gone downstairs, taken immediately downstairs by the doctors. Looked like some sort of right wrist complaint.
The ball quickly whipped inside by Stephen Hewitt, full forward. Here's McDonald. Oh, they came off him just at the right moment. Grimes has the left foot working for Howe.
Dangerous times here for the Saints. The Demons are growing in confidence. They're marking the ball and their better players are starting to come into it.
So Big Maxi.
A lot more measured and calm out of half-back now. A lot more foot skills rather than the handball game that we saw earlier. Good to see.
Cross.
And I think with the lack of freneticism of the St Kilda defence, the fanaticism's gone. St Kilda's not turning the ball over or causing the turnover as much.
Well, we spoke too soon. That surety disappeared and the pressure amped up a little bit, but they might find a way out. Dunn. There's Grimes. Lumumba. Brayshaw was on his own. Had been for a while on the wing, but Lumumba eventually kicks to him. He's probably given up 15 or 20 metres, and then he brings it into Tyson. So they're on the edge here, the Demons. And that's a lofted kick. Lucky Gorn's about 6'11". He can't take the mark. Taken by Cross, and now Tumpas having a prolific day, drives it wide, he's gaining confidence. Here's the number 5 for the D's. Here's Howe. That's a better kick, sharp kick. And Aidan Riley, the former Crow, has the mark on the edge of the 50. Hogan will be in the sights. He leads into the pocket. And Delaney does enough to defy. There's Pedersen.
Yeah. Been's downstairs and received some treatment. So tucked in the left forward pocket for the Demons. They've got the only goal so far in this quarter. Watts working hard. Jones is clear. Dribbles it in towards goal. Cut off in the last minute by Delaney. And eventually, was it taken over? Well, it is now. And on the full, so Melbourne will get another chance to go into attack. Courtesy
on top at the
of Lyndon
moment,
Dunn.
Bomber, the Demons, but they've got to take advantage on the scoreboard.
Similar to what St Kilda didn't do in the first half of this quarter. Oh, I'm a bit critical of Melbourne slowing the ball down there, kick mark, because St Kilda are on their knees. They should have just driven in for some speed and just tried to get some entries and some goals.
Lyndon Dunn from 55 to the top of the square. Big pack of players. Hogan was there but couldn't get in the action, and eventually it's just taken over for one behind. Sam Gilbert picks himself up as Rewalt takes the kick in. So the Saints sensing now they've got a huge task on their hands. Only down by a goal, but Melbourne trying to lock it up. Shenton, short, had to be accurate and isn't, may pay a price. Tommy again, don't tell me. McDonald's hand pass is okay. Tumpus takes it from Hogan, and Tumpus kicks the goal. Jimmy's away. The D's are away. He's got his second.
He's had 9 disposals this quarter, Jimmy Tumpus.
It's his best return for the Demons since his time at the club. But when you kick goals, it just adds so much more value to your performance. And this is a danger time now for St Kilda. Melbourne right on top, not telling so much on the scoreboard just yet, with just a 2-goal lead. But they have expended a lot of energy, St Kilda, and Melbourne are in a position now to expose it and nail a victory. He enjoyed it, Billy.
As we said, 9 disposals this quarter. No one with more on the ground. For a high draft pick would gladden the hearts of the D's, but not for long maybe. Jack Stephen, what a grand entrance into the 50, and he puts it through. Well, he's been well restrained today, Jack Stephen, by Jack Viney, and there's a response.
That was a great clearance. I think it was Jack Watts that won the tap. Have a look. Yeah, it was. Melbourne get first possession, and then they just gave it away, and this was just an individual solo performance by Jack. Great kick.
So we're back to a 1-goal ball game. Just over 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Longer wins it, pokes it wide towards Nunes. Jones taken out of it. It comes to Nunes. He gets the hand pass away to Montagna. Joey's short little pass is poor. Unlike him, put it straight onto the chest of Jeddah.
Sub's been made. Cam Pedersen out of the game with what looks to be a right wrist. Hopefully it's not a broken wrist. He's got some ice on it at the moment. And Viv Mitchie into the game.
Thank you, David King, multiple premiership player on the sidelines. Tumpus for number 10 for the quarter.
Possession 24 is a career best for Jimmy Tumpus.
And they're using Howe and Jack Watts as their second ruckman at the moment, Melbourne.
And his target there was Vince, but Geary intercepted, getting a hand to it. So the D's coming from behind, but there's still a lot of football to be played yet. Watts contests and takes it over the back to Cross. Cross puts them inside 50, and to see it chopped off once again by Dempster.
He's been a great player over the years, Sean Dempster. He's been able to play tall, and in his earlier years when he had a little bit more spring in his step, he could play on the smaller blokes as well.
Finds Webster. Jimmy goes from the back pocket towards centre wing. There was holding on from both parties. Watts, Savage, and well, that's an interesting one. A high tackle. They're going against Savage.
Mitchie just on, as Kingy said, as the sub.
Yeah, and now turnover. Montagna gets his skates on. He's had 2 bounces. He goes to a vacant forward zone. He only needs a kind bounce, and he misses to the left.
The roof would have opened then.
Yeah,
that gone through.
Hit the pad and hit the fat bit.
Gee. So we've got a 5-point ball game. Grimes brought back into play. Maxi, they play on now. Jeddah. Oh, put Viney under the pump. Back to Jeddah. He's in trouble, twisting and turning. Back to Maxi Gawn. Now Vince gives it to Lumumba. He goes in the middle, crosses alone. He can run to the 50 if he wants. One bounce. He goes wider. It's going to be okay. Jack Watt's going to have a shot. From 43 metres, he shoots towards goal and misses to the left. What an opportunity going banging.
Gee, it's anyone's guess at the moment.
That's unlike Jack Watts. He's been the strongest part of his game since he started as an AFL football, and that's nailing goals.
Just looking at his numbers, he had 20 disposals at that stage at 95% efficiency. He'd only missed one handball for the day, and he's played a really serviceable role around the stoppages today. He's actually had a pretty good game. Disappointing for him there.
Farron Ray back to the wing. Gilbert to try and spoil. McDonald was happy to do the same thing. And he's been pinged in the end, the D's. Little Tyson under all of that. And it's Matt Waller's footy. Cross-watching Armitage just flashed across your screen there. Goes super short to Savage. Down to the last 6 minutes. Fascinating third term. Two young teams still trying to find their way, getting moments where they have the play, but who can capitalise the most and for the longest will be the question that remains. Savage gives them a go at it. Revolt against two, as so often is the case. And he's tumbled with the ball there, Gawn. The umpire, though, crosses the arms. Brent Wallace comes scooting in. Let's again check in a moment with Alistair Lynch, just get the feel from the Melbourne coaches box. We'll just see whether this ball goes out of bounds. It does. Lynchy.
Yeah, they're pretty pleased in the coaches box as far as the Toumpas-Montagna matchup. The Toumpas had the lockdown role just before half-time. He's been able to not only eclipse Montagna, but be very dangerous offensively as well. Still encouraging their players to take the first option, give the handball, and when you're facing the goals, go long on the 45.
Longer and Gawn, neither decisive. Jones, a fierce tackle. He locks that ball up.
Yeah, he's in a friendly mood, is Ray, because I think he took the play on there and Jones nailed him.
Just a ripping tackle, and Shenton picks himself up. Just make sure that everything's okay. A tired Nunes chases. Gives it across to Sam Gilbert. Tumbles an ugly-looking punt kick down towards the 50-metre line. Overrunning it was Stretch. Loney tries to apply the tackle. Stretch again. And he is stretched to the limit. Lumumba almost ran out. Kept the ball in play. No one able to take it cleanly. It's close to the boundary line. It's over the boundary line. Boy, there are some tired players out there at the moment.
Sandy, there are, but this is the big story. Luke Delaney out of the game, Akers in, so that'll make huge ramifications down back for the Saints, particularly on the big matchup who's on fire at the moment, Jesse Hogan.
That is big. Delaney gone. Here's a fierce tackle by Brayshaw. He's an exciting young player and he's won himself a free kick.
Hogan's on the bench at the moment, so
He won't be there long.
no, he's back on the ground right as we speak. So let's see what the reshuffle means for them. Looks like Sam Gilbert maybe.
Brayshaw with the kick.
Do you know what this game needs? This game needs some space, doesn't it? Like if you've got the momentum, you need space. What they should do is when you defend, make it smaller. When you're attacking, let's get the ground bigger and wider.
Toumpas.
Certainly helped Melbourne, I think, when the game slowed down a little bit after half-time. When they first came out, it was a little bit slower, a little bit wider, and Melbourne's kicking skills were able to set them up with some shots at goal. The Saints have put the clamp down, and there's the new matchup. Dempster playing tall.
From the throw-in. Ray is at the bottom of the pack, and with him is young Neil Bullen. Boy from Glenelg in South Australia, 19-year-old. Having his first game. Gawn flicks it over the back, taken by Montagna. Montagna floats it high towards Bruce.
I think Bruce had a big last quarter and a bit.
Well, it'll take an almighty kick here from Bruce. He's 60 metres from home. He goes to the top of the square. Rewalt won't get there in time, but he almost did the roving work. And now there's a high tackle.
High tackle. Daniel Cross.
Not sure about that kick. He kicked it long to a 2-on-1. I think it might have been Akers was sitting there in the goal square, but
I think he was trying to flight it, Jared, for Riewoldt running back to the top of the goal square, but in any man's language, it was a poor kick.
So Daniel Cross. He was hoping for McDonald, and the mark's been paid. Oh, McDonald can't believe it. Dunstan wasn't going to wait. He's just banged it up for Riewoldt. But he's got it! The champ has got it!
well, it's a controversial decision on the 50-metre line. But no point arguing. You've got to guard the mark to prevent that ball coming in as quickly and as low as it did, because that's why Riewoldt ended up having the jump at it.
He won't be happy with himself, Tom.
I'm happy that Riewoldt's got the ball. Anytime he gets the ball, I'm happy for him. Great career.
Coming in for his 4th goal. The probability says 99%. And it got through, but only just. That little 1% can play havoc with your mind. Scores are level at Etihad Stadium. We can have a look at that free kick and see how contentious it was.
It wasn't there, was it?
Well, I think both players had hands on the ball at the start. But in reality, you'd be saying to him as coach, doesn't matter whether it's a good decision or a bad decision, just get on the mark.
Yes.
So Riewoldt now with 4. Hogan has 5 for the D's, and we have a contest and a half. Scores level, and a couple of minutes remaining in this 3rd term.
How significant is that Delaney injury, Jared, do you think?
I think it's massive at the moment. It puts so much pressure on Dempster. I'll be pushing all the players up and leaving Hogan one out just about at the moment.
Tumpus to Brayshaw, up towards Hogan and co. Gilbert, he's going to be caught. Hogan plays on and he hits the post. One behind. Melbourne regain the lead.
Sometimes you just don't take advantage. When you're 5 metres out, there would be rules, I'm sure, in clubs.
Yes, but would he have heard the whistle before he kicked it, or in the action of kicking? I'm not sure.
Longer.
It's a shame, though.
Pushes over the line.
It's gone.
Takes a couple of deep breaths and he'll come back to contest the throw-in.
Would you talk to him at that stage, Bo, or just wait till the end to the review to go through that sort of stuff?
Wait the review, I think.
Longer again and Gawn. Rather decisive. Montagna in towards the middle. Not a lot at home, however. This is stretch. Poor kick.
That's why he's been a great player. He's just used his body, edged him up under the ball, didn't give away a free kick, and the Saints win the ball back.
Webster to Savage to Geary.
At the end of the day, though, it was another poor kick inside forward 50 for Melbourne. That should have been out in front with Hogan running onto the front of it.
He's not sure where to go, Geary. He wants to change, but eventually goes short down the line to Savage, who in turn finds Nunes, who tumbles a punt. It'll be a cruel bounce for Bruce. It is. It's handed away to Lyndon Dunn. Vince almost threw that back to Cross. He kicks up towards Howe, who had to take on 3 of them. Courage shown by Geary.
Human cannonball there.
3 of them. 3 players, all just eyes for the ball. Fantastic.
Here's an opportunity for Akers, who came on, as we heard from David King, as the sub to replace Delaney. We've got a throw in.
Just prior to that, Jared, he looked before he went, Geary. He knew what was coming. He said, you know what, I've got to go anyway. It was fantastic courage, great leadership.
Last minute of the 3rd quarter here. Gawn the tap. Tumpus, the ball spinning around. Vince got the handball and another to Jones. Fashioned some sort of kick. Hogan a long way from goal. Got the handball. So did Brayshaw. Back to the wing. Rounded up again. Nunes. They start again, the Saints. 49 seconds. Shenton feeds Akers. That was a shocking looking kick towards the 50. Crash. Cross just thrives on that sort of stuff. Jones back the other way. Stephen on the 50. Is that in the back? Play on. Road longer, and we're going to have a ball up. We're down to 32 seconds. Razor Ray comes in. He loves this sort of stuff too, does Razor. Gets in amongst it and clears the players out. Now they go again. Gawn gets the tap down onto the 50. Brayshaw charging through. Tumpus got a full tour of Etihad Stadium, but Ray says no. He's in a generous mood. And it's another ball up. Path to goal from there for the Saints. You can see working all the way back to the square where Nick Revolt waits. 18 seconds. Time for the Saints if they can get a clean clearance, but that's not what they get.
Right now I'd put Gartland and Hogan up inside 50, no matter where the ball was, isolated. Dangerous.
8 seconds, and here's the moment. And the mark is paid.
Well, Melbourne have left Akers by himself floating on the defensive side of this last two stoppages. He could have got the tap the last time, except there's a poor throw up from Rosa. On that occasion, he was the third man up, and it allowed them to clear the ball, setting this up. He needs to be nailed. Everybody needs to be nailed at these critical stoppages.
So Membry, who came into the team, has 1 goal, 1. And what a kick this is to put the Saints back in front. It feels like one of those matches where every single shot for goal could be absolutely crucial come the final siren. We've got a terrific view of it here. Membry is leftish, and scores are level, and I reckon that is appropriate right now. You can't split them. 11-9-75, St Kilda and Melbourne. The coach's addresses at three-quarter time will be all important. Our men will be there listening. And when the game finishes, we go to the boys on the bounce, Sandy.
Indeed we do. Well,
what a quarter coming up. We're in for a fascinating final term. Scores are level. Melbourne are going to have to defy history. They haven't won here at Etihad since round 19, 2007. It was August 11 against the Western Bulldogs. They've lost their last 20 at this ground by an average of 42 points. Back then in August 2007, John Howard was the Prime Minister, and it was called the Telstra Dome rather than Etihad. Right now they have a really good chance because scores are level. 11-9-75 and Melbourne 11-9-75. Very hard to split these two teams. We've got men in both camps, and Alistair Lynch has been with the Demons all day. Lynchy?
Thanks, Hutto. Yes, Paul Roos is really trying to get his players to make sure they understand their roles and hang in there with their roles. And composure with ball in hand. We saw throughout that quarter they were able to hit the 45 kick, extra 30 metres into the corridor, so they want to take the corridor on. So really excited about the last quarter. It should be a cracking game, and they well and truly think they're in it. Kingy?
Well, the main part of the speech there from Alan Richardson was about challenging his midfielders. He challenges David Armitage to give us something in this last quarter. He felt Nathan Jones had got on top, in tight and tough for the Demons, but Rewald grabbed them together. He said, play it moment by moment. This will go the last minute. Let's be tougher for longer.
Thanks, Kingy. And sorry there, Sandy. Scores level, as we said. We talked about Melbourne and what they've been through since that last win. There's an example, Sandy, of the coaches that have endured the losses here at Etihad Stadium over the years. Look at those names.
look at the turnover. The great Neil Danaher, Mark Riley, Dean Bailey, and it goes all the way down to Paul Roos.
And also, the Saints, of course, have won the last 10 against the Demons, so there's a lot to overcome here in this final quarter. Scores are level.
What a way to go into the final term. Gawn wins the tap. Brayshaw won't be able to get that one out. And we'll have a stoppage.
He was just mown over. You just wonder whether or not the loss of Luke Delaney is going to play a significant impact on it.
Akers replacing him, but he will be a loss down there at the last line of defence.
Ruzzi's pushed all the players up and just left him one out against Sean Dempster. The key there is not to kick the ball on top of his head. It's just put it out in front of him.
It's a forlorn figure on the bench, Delaney. Third time lucky perhaps to get it out. Dempster having the job on Hogan. Gawn getting a tap towards Brayshaw, goes wide. He may take the old 1-2, and he does here. He's 48 metres out. And poorly directed on that occasion. Dempster is able to defend and go wide to Stephen. Jack Stevens got it on half back. He passes Shenton, goes towards Longer and Gawn. The big men go at it. And Gawn is going to be successful because he combines with Viney. Viney gets legged, and he's going to get a free kick.
Bit of a let off there. He was a bit lucky that maybe the fact that the pants slipped allowed the tackle to drop down.
Fine. Howe is a flyer. Gilbert close to the line. And eventually it's over. Can you follow that, please, Hutto?
Do my best, Sandy. There's Cam Pedersen.
Looks like a break of some sort, doesn't it?
Good battle in the ruck. Overrunning at Akers, still hitting in the field after coming on as the sub just before three-quarter time. Armitage to the voice of Nunes in the middle of the ground, overrun by Cross, who got it out to Vince. That handball was too swift. He has to go and follow it up and clear the path for Lyndon Dunn. Guides it for Billy Stretch. Takes the mark. Watts breaks to the wing. That's where he's headed. By the time he marks it, he was almost over the line, so it's going to be a long journey. That'll quicken the process, though. Nice kick, and Jones couldn't help but take the mark. And he decides to go. Howe and Gilbert, and well done, Jeremy Howe. They were both engaged in a wrestle. I don't think either realised the ball was coming in. Howe was the first to twig, and now he can go back and have the shot.
Just winning too many of the 50-50 balls at the moment, the Demons, for Alan Richardson's liking.
He's probably looking a bit stronger, aren't they? They're fatiguing St Kilda players, some of the young ones, I think.
So Jeremy Howe, 4 goals, 5 only for the season, and just the one behind so far today. It's a 50-50 shot for goal from there. And it's just the wrong side of the post. Enough to give them the lead. But as we said, whoever of these two sides can actually capitalise on those sort of 50-50 shots will probably win the game.
Webster brings it into Montagna.
Just having a look at Nathan Jones' impact on this game. He's had 11 inside 50s, which is a personal best, and they've resulted in 4 goals too. He's the one that Saints need to clamp.
Lovely kick to Ray, who finds Shenton. He's in trouble. He took him on. And he's lost it, but he's got support in the form of Ray. Up towards the 50. Big pack of flyers. No one able to take it cleanly. Loney now, steadying towards Rewald. Rewald had to beat a couple. He's hurt. Rewald is hurt behind play. We'll keep an eye on him. It's coming back his way once again. He's not going to get there, and Grimes is going to take the mark, but Rewald is limping.
Yeah, he got the sandwich, and it looks like he's holding, well, both knees. He looks really shot at the moment.
Ray stands his ground. Could have almost been free kick. Has had Hogan coming charging at him. Now Jones takes them on, and Armitage has got him.
Well, a personal win there. He was challenged by his coach. And he gets sandwiched by Gawn. Maybe, oh, he's grabbed that chronic knee again.
Great tackle by Armitage, winning in possession of the ball.
Well, this one had hurt. Demons had an opportunity at the other end of the ground. Similar position, couldn't make it count.
This to regain the lead. If he kicks straight. He hasn't. He's tied it up at 11-10 apiece.
Is there any doubt about St Kilda's game plan? The most tackles they've had at three-quarter time for 10 years. They've had 81 so far at three-quarter time, and they've picked up where they've left off.
Oh, Hogan almost. Melbourne fans, I think, can just see how much excitement they're going to get out of Jesse Hogan in the years to come. He's leaping like that.
And Hutto, it's worth remembering, St Kilda's won only 3 fourth quarters this year. Melbourne have won just 4.
Armitage has a crack. Jones again. There's a quick whistle. Holding the man, I think, was the call from umpire Wallace. And it's against Riley and goes to Weller.
Well, there's no one moving, so they're anticipating it along to the top of the square.
And that's where it heads. Bruce was there. Remember, he had a crack. Vince didn't take it with him, which actually worked out okay. Membry, Jetta turned the body at the right time. It's close to the line. It's more likely to be a ball up than a throw in, though. Rewald just trying to walk it off at the moment. Know his body and that ailment so well. He's managed it incredibly over the last few years. Vince, Tyson, time wasn't on his side. The kick in haste to halfback. Hogan's don't have to touch it. And sure, it'll be a throw in. St Kilda fans not so sure.
Great result for Melbourne, though. They just had to get it out of that super dangerous territory, and they'll be happy enough with a stoppage. Akers again, they're just leaving him alone. Cross there, also unguarded.
Longer wins it. Montagna, the hand pass. Shenton, short, inside 50. But Lumumba, with strength and pace, comes away to Cross. Cross needs runners out wide, and he's got them now. One is Mitchie. Tries to draw the player. The hand pass was poor. It dropped short. It put Lumumba right under the pump. Mitchie goes in to try and make amends. A little too late, however. He's frustrated with himself. He knows the problem.
David King, we've got a problem for Nick Riewoldt. Just have a look at this last leap. And he's pulled up lame. He's gone to the bench.
Yeah, he's gone to the bench, Jared. I think he's trying to stay out there for his team because he knows he still draws a matchup. He's still a threat, even though his mobility's gone, showing all sorts of discomfort there with that left knee.
Farron Ray, the recipient of the free kick, is going to switch play, going from one end to the other. Dempster goes wide to the outer side. So to centre wing, Jack Stevens. Stephen has a look downfield. He elects to go down the line. That's dangerous because the ball was dropped, but memory is recovered. Up towards Loney, who copped a hard one. Goes again. Dunstan in trouble. They pounce on him.
Amble's not hitting targets, so under the pump, you've just got to make your opportunities count. And I think it was Leigh Montagna there, just didn't quite get the execution right.
You know, you've been in these games and you do get tired and your things just fall away, your concentration level, and but you've just got to nail it, you know, if you want to be win these sorts of games.
Little steal by Garlett, but only momentary. Dempster takes the mark, pops it over to Akers. Akers has a look downfield. Bruce is in the pack.
Big push.
Melbourne have got the numbers at the back. Cross feigns the hand pass, then gets it off to Tyson, to Lumumba, back to Tyson, and back to Lumumba, I should say. Pick it up, Herrera. He can't. Got a fickle bounce. Has lost it, but good tackling may see Melbourne maintain possession. The pressure's on. It's tough and it's hard. It's uncompromising. Cross gives it to Watts. Back again once more to Jetta. He goes out the back door. They steady. Crosses in the pocket, or he can come wider to McDonald. McDonald was a target. He's first to recover. Gets the hand pass away towards Mitchie. Mitchie's in trouble. Back to McDonald again. Finding Cross. Short to Jones, and he'll steady it down.
Captain's back out there, Nick Riewoldt. This is some sort of courageous effort here. He knows the game's on the line. There's a chance of victory here. It's just waltzing around the wing at the moment. He can hardly move.
Jones hits the tough kick. Gets it to Tyson and now to Watts. They build the Demons into the middle. Jetta, the instant give was good. Neil Bullen kick. And Hogan. Everything but take the mark. Not paid. And here comes Jack Stevens scooting through half-back. Has two bounces and he is off and running. Ambitious kick to half forward. Bruce outnumbered and McDonald able to shut it down. And drills the pass to the wing again. And Neil Bullen captures it in his first game and wobbles it to half forward. Brayshaw braced for the contact and it came. And here's Stephen to round it up again and try and generate something. Both teams, they're out on their legs. The kick goes to Blake Akers. It was pushing the bounds at 50.
Got to be smart here. Whoever wins the ball has just got to not blaze them away because it is coming back and you're wasting energy chasing.
And whoever's on Jack Stevens should go and pick him up because he's actually had a lot of influence the last 5 minutes. He's working. Yeah.
Savage turns and releases. Deep ball. Well, it doesn't fly. Howe does.
It's a big win for St Kilda. Ball hasn't gone out, so it's not the win.
Jones keeps it in. Cross to Howe. Went back into the traffic, thinking he could wade through, passes the responsibility over to Cross, and he walks it out. And eventually it's job done, but the Saints fans pleading.
Not happy.
Time not a factor. And over 11 minutes remaining. Scores level. McDonald tries to find Cross. Ross. It's the hand pass away. Geary, floating punt kick, inside 50. Bruce was a target, couldn't take it. Geary there as well. Howe now, smothered, beautifully done. And we've got a throw in, and that hurt. That was Minchington who provided the smother. Worth another look.
Might have got the boots coming, following through into the rib cage, Andy.
Not very pleasant, but he's up. And the throw in to take place.
4-2 if for the hack kick out, so the Demons have got to control it.
Tyson heads to the wide open spaces. Nunes, Watts is going to have to beat a couple. Rewalt, he can hardly walk, but he provides the shepherd and he does it well. Nunes swings it back in towards centre-half forward. Big pack of players. That's a Melbourne mark. That's a big, big mark at the back of the pack.
Well, clearly the Demons are, the Saints are prepared to bomb the ball in, but they haven't got the infrastructure there, Bomber, to justify that at the moment. Rewald's out of the game. Josh Bruce isn't getting there, and at the moment Melbourne are just flooding back and absorbing this pressure. The fast break is going to be the killer punch.
Jetta short to McDonald, who takes on Rewalt. He knows he's a little crook with that ankle, so he comes to Howe.
So Gawn's pushed forward with Longer, so there's a one-on-one for the ruckman if he goes down the line.
Stretch short, that's okay. Finding Bernie Vince. Lynchy, you're in the Melbourne camp. What's the feeling there with Rusi and co at the moment?
Well, they're just looking to make sure they've got composure when under pressure here in these sort of situations, hit the targets, and also the other thing, they're going to move Garland into the midfield. They've got to find some extra run. There's a lot of tired players out there.
Gilbert picks it up. Here's an opportunity for... Couldn't take it cleanly, however. It comes to Bruce. Bruce!
Could have kept running.
Snaps! Snaps across the face for one behind.
Just keep on running, Josh. Next time you get that chance, make it an absolute certainty.
Everybody's feeling the pressure, aren't they? That's great. I love these situations.
Lynchy, what about Revolt from a Melbourne point of view?
Well, Rui's been playing as the seventh back for the last 5 minutes. Now, he's pushed forward at the moment, but his mobility is not great. So I think he's going to play defensive side, but you just got to be so careful not to let him get goal side, and that's what McDonald has to do.
Counter punch is the killer for the Saints. They've had it in there 10 times. Melbourne just 3, but they haven't hit the scoreboard.
So that's inch by inch.
Yeah, I suppose.
Goes short to Watts. They're on the build again.
Oh, God.
Can't take anything for granted right now. Could not get past. Quickly moved by Nunes after a brilliant tackle out to half forward. Akers is there, gets the call from Revolt on one leg and gets crunched. Down he goes, the champ. Free kick. Saints lead by 1. We're down to 8 minutes. Time will be a factor soon. High ball, giving it everything he can on those tired, aching legs. Bruce tries to make the running. Can't take the mark. And the Demons get as many bodies around it as possible. Here's Revolt.
Lyndon Dunn can hardly walk. He's absolutely out on his feet.
Gawn got the tap down. Stephen made a crack at it. Armitage. No room to move, and again it's umpire's ball. There is Lyndon Dunn, just limping out from the goal square, leaving it vacant. Lots of pointing going on. Saints in a dangerous position. Riley, Jetta, nothing to go to short. He's basically conceded that he's going to give the ball back to the opposition. Tries to buy some time, and the Saints allow that luxury because Geary went short to Nunes. The give, the left-footed Jimmy Webster with a skimming ball in the Membry direction, but stealing the moment was Minchington. Beat him to the punch, to the frustration of Rusi. So Minchington already has 1 goal to his name. They've got a host of little small forwards. Billings is out of the team. Sinclair's out of the team. And so it's on the shoulders of Darren Minchington. We've talked about these important kicks for goals. We've seen them fail. And there's another one. It doesn't hit the target. Revolt fights a lone battle, keeps it alive for the Saints. Dutson! Oh, the post! Can anyone kick a goal?
2 points the margin.
12 inside 50s to 3 in this final term. And St Kilda can't get the job done at the moment.
6 3/4 minutes remaining. Still plenty of time. Howe will be a flyer from behind. Tried to affect the spoil. Shenton gets a hurried kick down towards the pocket, and it beat Grimes over the line.
I think Melbourne need to do something about the St Kilda press. They're pressing right up the ground. They're just... It's like a golf ball going on a brick wall at the moment. They can't get out of defensive 50. Maybe need to draw some numbers back in their forward line.
Interesting to look at the rankings at the moment. Rewalt and McDonald, 1 and 2. Here's Bernie Vince, hurried hand pass. Jetta's kick goes back towards Ray, who takes a good mark. He goes in towards the middle.
Oh, this is a big chance here for...
It's being turned over. And it's going to Hogan. So here's the opportunity as players, tired players, stream from one end of the ground to the other.
They probably want Hogan on the end of it.
Hogan short. Tyson couldn't complete the mark. Opportunity for Montagna. Now they've got to switch both back again to Rewald.
Well, he needs someone to lay off the handball too, because he's in no condition at the moment, Bomber, to go back and shoot for him. I'm not saying he can't kick it.
Let's have a look before he kicks at the reversal of the free.
Not much in that either. That's just a moment.
And now
umpires want to influence the game.
Rewald.
Joey Montagna beside him, but he's being reasonably
kicking
well
leg, is it,
covered.
Jared?
No, it's his other leg, but his stationary leg may be the problem.
Stabiliser.
Yeah.
Well, he's kicked 4. He has this kick to stretch the lead to 8 points. He's pulled it. He's ripped it away to the left and won't trouble the scorers out of bounds on the full.
He is making a difference, though. Just being out there, Jared and Bomber,
Yeah, no doubt about that.
has been huge. And their organisation behind the football is largely because of number 12. He's all heart.
I think there was an opportunity, though, there for the lay-off kick, but it's gone now.
Vince is away. Pulls it in towards Tyson, who holds this one. Dom back in the side this week, one of the 5 changes. He heads towards centre wing. Howe and Gawn. Bruce at the back. Smothered by Gawn. Well done by the big man. Proppy hand pass for Howe. Shenton intercepts. He gets locked up. And he's going nowhere. We've got another stoppage.
Well, which team is going to be able to score a goal here? Only 2 games ever have been level at three-quarter time and had no goals in the final term. The last time was in 1945, would you believe? We're down to the last 5 minutes. There's been opportunities, but so far no one has been able to hit the target.
Sandy was just doing his second year of his apprenticeship in that year.
Longer. Tyson.
Tackle.
Jeez, they've been lenient on letting the ball go.
Yeah.
Stephen locked him up. Vince gets it to Jones. It goes nowhere, at least not yet. Montagna with all that experience, he can't find a way through either. Howe goes to ground. Interesting call this one, though. Oh, there's little spot fires, little pushing and shoving. They didn't like what Montagna did to Jimmy Tumpus.
Not sure Jimmy enjoyed it too much
No,
either.
he's getting up slowly, but right now you've just got to will yourself to the ball. Jack Stephen does that. Don Tyson was ready for him. They shape up.
Viney and Montagna.
And the free kick, it's not the time to give them away. They're trying to stand up for their team, but they also have to keep a cool head. And the free kick goes to Montagna. And they lead by 2 points. You wouldn't think for a minute they could defend the 2-point lead purely defensively.
He's got the bloke.
Oh, yeah, look.
Took a while, but eventually he found Sam Gilbert back in the team. Not always noted for his delicate little passes, but that's a good one to mention.
That's a good one for the umpire to turn a blind eye to as well.
Barely held it long enough. Does he
Well, he had
think
got an
about it
opportunity.
here?
Go back and kick this one.
Does he pump it all the way?
Isn't it funny when Melbourne got desperate, they just moved the ball quickly, and now they're behind in this game. There's 3 minutes or 7 minutes. How long to go?
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5 minutes to go, and they're still playing safe.
So many misses. Mincington gives it everything he's got, and it's off hands. and through for another behind as the Saints creep further ahead. 3:38 now on the clock.
Well, their trademark Kingy is the forward press, St Kilda. Right now, it's probably going to determine whether they get the 4 points.
Absolutely, and you can just see them pulling further and further back. Geary, Webster holding back. You've got Garland he's looking to get out the back here. Unopposed at the moment. They need to take a risk. Just throw this ball into the corridor.
Tyson goes short to Vince, who in turn finds McDonald. McDonald's at half-back. Takes on Montagna. Ambitious. Gives it across to Tumpas. Jimmy goes into the middle and Lumumba. That's better. Now they're away. Tyson goes wide. They've got the runners out wide. Jones is in the middle screaming for it. But Jetta went wider still, and that's okay. Finds Cross.
Watts is the man, he's free.
Cross gets underneath a high drop punt. Is going to be a big pack, but they misjudged it. Everyone did. A tired Watts can't pick it up. Viney gives it to Jones, almost handed it to him. Dunstan off the ground. Only as far as Jetta. Claimed, tried to break the tackle, couldn't do so, and he's been pinged.
There's a trademark gang tackling at St Kilda. You've got to be wary of the bloke from behind as well as the bloke in front.
2.5 remaining. Still plenty of time for Melbourne if they're good enough. Akers goes high. Dunstan stands and waits, and a tired Lyndon Dunn in his 150th takes the mark, goes into the middle, gives it to Watts. Now they're away. Vince long and low. Jesse! Hogan marks 42 out. Almost directly in front, and has a chance to put Melbourne in front. He's kicked 5. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. Yes, it's time for a small prayer.
It's amazing how often you get to score a goal or a shot at goal.
Here it comes.
In the corridor.
Kicking from 48. He's going to make the distance barely, and eventually rushed over for 1 behind. 1.5 minutes remaining.
What do you think, Jared?
Well, can Melbourne press? That's the issue. Can they push this up and get the turnover? Because if they can't, they lose the match.
Will the streak continue for the Demons here at Etihad and against the Saints? They've got their chance again. Down to 1 minute 26. Big Maxi gone. Puts his faith in Jeremy Howe.
I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but they've had them players there all quarter, and they just haven't wanted to go to them.
Oh, he can feel this right now. He's been watching like everyone else. Time and time again, players have lined up for goals in this last quarter and have not been able to convert. This is a difficult shot. His team trails by 2. The man known for his big, big marks comes in and kicks a big, big goal. Wow! That's his first. And the little demon loves it.
He's got 41 seconds to break the hoodoo. 20 years.
I don't think that Demon will be changing colours anytime soon. If the Demons can get up here, this will be the most exciting victory he's seen in a long, long time.
No doubt about that.
He wasn't alive when last one here.
What are they doing here, the team, Melbourne? They're putting it here behind the ball. Yep, from about 1, 2,
So
6, 7, 1 behind. Might have been more.
41 seconds. And there are the stats that tell the dismal story for Melbourne in the past. Bruce tried to flick it out the back. The Saints go charging forward again. Through Stephen, they need a mark. They haven't got it yet. Still plenty of time. Back to Jack Stephen once again. Takes on 1, takes on 2. Kicks into the pocket. Over the head it goes. At the back, Montagna! Into the open goal! Saints regain the lead. 19 seconds remaining. Don't talk about history yet, because things may not change.
That's amazing, isn't it? That is truly amazing that St Kilda can score a goal within 20 seconds.
Still on hard running. Jack Stephen, the huge star.
There's Jack.
Leigh Montagna's been brilliant as well. And I reckon he enjoys
60 seconds. That young man saw his team break through for a goal, but then crestfallen as the Saints respond. 19 seconds for the Demons. Can they do it?
Sticky blokes now behind the ball. The Saints just need to kill this one. Melbourne need the break.
Gaunt can't get out of there. And 5-6 precious seconds elapse, and it's down to 13 now. 2 points, St Kilda's lead. The third up works to advantage. Everything vital now. The little tap. Big tackle on Armitage. He's got it safely away. Jack Stephen down to the wing. And there's Rui to get it over the line. And get the Saints over the line. How do they do it? Despair for Melbourne. They fall short. An incredible game of football. It was unbelievable. There was mistakes everywhere, but the Saints fans couldn't care less. They've got the points.
Some players absolutely out on their feet. Hands on knees, hands on hips, hands on head. A gallant performance. Melbourne so close, and with just 30 seconds remaining, they had the history books all ripped up. But Jack Stephen had other ideas as he charged bomber St Kilda down into that forward line, and Joey finished it off.
Well, you see the difference when St Kilda got in front. They had about 3 or 4 people running back. Melbourne had one.
And Nick Riewoldt survived. He hurt himself late in that quarter. We'll find all about it now with David King. Kingy?
It's all worth it, mate. It's all worth it when you win like that. You're on one leg there for the last 15 minutes. What an effort for yourself personally.
Oh, yeah, great. Such a great result for the boys. It's been really exciting this year, the brand of footy that we're playing. 2 teams in a really similar position, probably going a bit better than people give them credit for, but yeah, we're really happy to just fight it out to the last minute and get the 4 points.
I know you pulled them together 3/4 time, and you said this could go the last minute. Well, you were spot on.
Yeah, we talk a bit about playing to the last minute with a young group. That's what it's all about, consistency over a 4-quarter period. We know when we've played well this year, we've done it for the majority of games. Lapses are what kills us. So, yeah, look, just trying to teach them the right way to play, and our boys are terrific.
Oh, we can see it, mate. We can see this club growing again. The brand is strong. The coaching unit have really got you playing an organised, settled system. The Saints fans are rapid what they're seeing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you can tell the atmosphere around the club's really good. There's been a bit more positive stuff in the press being said, which is, it only comes as a result of hard work and performance and results. So we know we've got a long way to go and we need to keep building, but we're going about it in the right way.
You couldn't move that last couple of minutes. The ball was just bouncing around you there. Did you know that Joey was in behind you?
No, I didn't. He's a wily old veteran, Joey. That was it was a lucky bounce, and it's good to be on the right side of it.
Mate, go and enjoy this. This is one of the special ones.
Thanks,
I know you've played in bigger games and had bigger wins, but this is huge.
Yeah, they're enjoyable. Every win, considering what we've been through the last 2 years, has been tough. So great for us, great for the supporters.
Good on you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
A couple of wily old veterans, in fact, not just Joey, but Nick Riewoldt as well. And a great performance, a great entertaining afternoon here at Etihad Stadium with St Kilda prevailing by 2 points. The entertainment continues on because Bounce is set to go in Studio 1.